He's rear handcuffed. He's wrapped up like a taco. They gave him 2 shots. They gave him another shot when we get there. I'm like, now he's in the cell, but the cell isn't locked, okay? The guy's laying down on the floor. I'm like, all right, let me grab something, go to the bathroom, grab something to drink. I come back, the guy's running down the hall. I saw my career flash before my eyes. After I put the 13 over the radio, I fired 13 times. He's down, he's hit, okay? Now, he goes for a second fire. My shooting from start to finish, I believe, was 21 and a half seconds. My daughter randomly says to me one day, Daddy, you're not gonna die in me, are you? I look at my wife and I'm like, I need to get myself better. I need to get myself help. And the point that I'm trying to make, anyone watching this, is that mental health is very important to myself. It should be very important to anybody, human being on this earth. And it should be spoken about more often.
Welcome to the Purpose Over Pension podcast. Today we have Steve Padullo. Steve, thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Honored to be here. Honored to be here. It's great.
Man, thank you so much. Crazy thing is, my boy Ian that I was in the Mr. Beast Challenge with had Steve on his podcast as the first law enforcement officer or police officer on the Locked In podcast. Small world. He's here today. We have another connection in some weird way that we'll talk about a little later.
Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't believe when you did the challenge. I'm like, oh, yo, it's my boy Ian. Now he's doing the challenge. I'm like, yeah, it's great. Yeah,
he's a great guy. So, Steve, just tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from.
So I grew up in Bethpage, Nassau County, Long Island. I have a younger brother. Dad worked, he was in management for Pearl Vision, and the typical, upbringing. He worked 6 days a week. Mom stayed home, raised my brother and I. Grew up upper middle class, but one thing about my father is that he always taught my brother and I nothing was given to him in life. Nothing was given to him. He earned the house. My father was in the Air Force. My grandfather's a Purple Heart recipient, World War II. And he always had that very strong work ethic growing up. And he gave a great life for my brother and I and my mother. And I can't complain whatsoever. And my father is such a role model that he's my hero. He's my best friend. He's taught me so much growing up in life. And, if I ever turned out to be a 10th of the man that he is with my 2 children, I would consider myself extremely successful. And I can't thank God enough for keeping my father around, because when my dad was, when I was 5, maybe 4.5, 5 years old, my father used to smoke and his lung collapsed. My brother was just born. My brother was maybe about a year and change. And my father, while he was in the hospital, he caught pneumonia. And he came within inches of losing his life. And my dad always taught me growing up, when you give someone your word, it's your word. So he promised God, if my father ever tells a story, he goes, God, just let me out of this hospital. I'll give you my word. I'll never smoke a cigarette ever again.
Wow.
And you're going over 40 years. And my life would have been completely different if my father had passed. I'd asked my mom, actually, what would have happened if Dad ever died? Well, we would have moved to Rosedale with Grandma and Grandpa. I would have been in Queens, public school, which we know is not as good as Nassau County school system. My life would have been, you get to that road, the left or the right.
Sure.
It could have gone really south. So I'm so grateful that my dad was able to recover from being in the hospital. Because without him in my life, I wouldn't be the man I am today.
Yeah. And Rosedale is a tough area.
Yeah, from what I understand now, it's no joke over there. Like, it's a rough area. The school system, the whole area in itself, it's not like you're living out here in Suffolk County or Nassau County. It's a completely different world. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Did you have family in law enforcement as well?
So my Uncle Frank, through marriage, was a Port Authority sergeant, Port Authority Police Department. He was on the job for over 30 years, but unfortunately he had passed from a 9/11 cancer.
Wow.
So he passed in 2008. 2008 he had passed. So I always looked up to Uncle Frank. Like, I always, wow, he's a sergeant at Port Authority. He's a cop. He's a sergeant. Other than that, that's all I have in my family from law enforcement. But ever since I was a little kid, I always had that sixth sense that something's wrong. So we had to live with my uncle for a few months, because when we were moving, my parents had sold their house. We had to stay by my uncle. I remember my uncle was telling me, don't go down the block, like a drug deal. And my brother, I remember this is going back 35 years ago. He's on his bicycle, and I was a little kid. I'm like, no, don't. I always had that. When something was wrong, I knew it, even as a little boy. I knew, and I just, from that moment or that time frame, I always knew I wanted to be a police officer growing up. I don't know if you ever saw the show TJ Hooker from back in the day.
No, I've heard of it. But
Yeah, you're going back, oh my God, early 80s, like back in the day. And I'm like, oh, wow, like, what's this? Police. And I just knew from day one, that's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did life look like growing up aside from, being like high school? And
So in high school, I played ice hockey as part of the Bethpage Eagles ice hockey team, which was nice. Very easygoing as a kid, as a teenager, kind of like everybody's friend. Ninth and 10th grade, I was kind of like to myself a little bit. I blossomed like junior year and senior year. It was just like, it just progressed and took off. And it was like, oh my God, if I didn't go out Friday night and I missed something, you know how that is back in the day. Like, oh, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh man. But what I would give to go back to those times, high school was like, it's a joke. Like it's not a joke, but life is so much easier and simpler back then, right? Like being an adult now with bills and responsibilities, like if I knew now what I knew then, I would have savored the moment. But you're a kid, it goes so quick.
It's funny that you say that, because for me, I feel like high school put more pressure on me than where I am now.
Oh yeah, how do you figure?
I figured the reason why is because I felt like it was always about trying to fit in, whereas now I could care less.
Yeah, you know why? It's funny you say that. When I was like, I want to say like maybe 18, 19 years old, I always cared what someone would think.
Right.
I always cared what people's opinions were. I'm like, oh, why doesn't this guy like me? Why isn't like, you understand what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
Yeah, but now as an adult, I'm like, yo, you don't want to mess with me? All good. You want to be down with me?
Right.
Cool. Like we're good. I'm good either way.
Right.
And I think a lot of people now, they're so concerned about what others think about them. You're wasting your time, man. Like if they don't want to mess with you, then don't bother with them. It's like, why chase that? For what reason?
Yeah.
Why care?
Right.
Your opinion means nothing to me.
Exactly.
You paying my bills? No. Your opinion means absolutely nothing to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, especially, and I feel like being on the job actually taught me that. Because when you're out there and you're trying to do the right thing for the community, and me being an African-American police officer, I was insulted very often.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I mean, no, it is what it is. It's just part of it. And then not only that, but the toxicity within the job itself. It's high school with guns.
Oh my God. It's
high school with guns.
High school on steroids with guns and drama.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure you could tell me stories also like, oh, this guy's sleeping with her. Yeah. This one's getting the overtime. He's got the new car.
Why this person get promoted?
Yo, I didn't care. I stayed in my lane. I came to work. I did my job and I went home. I got too much in my personal life going on that I could care less of who's with who's the clique, who's not. I could give a shit. Right. I could care less. I didn't care. I really honestly did not give a shit but some people, they're consumed by that. That's all they have is the job, is the job. Oh, you hear so-and-so? And the second someone makes a little mistake, all the spotlight's on them.
Yeah.
And they're hammering this guy or girl. Yep. And it's like, oh my God, and they keep going after this guy and they blah, blah, blah.
I feel like they just need something to feed on constantly.
Correct.
That's why I rip on the WhatsApp groups and the group chats, because all it is a cesspool of other cops looking for the next thing to talk about.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's like you guys either need to get a hobby, need to get a wife, need to get a girlfriend, or need to get both. Get a girlfriend and a wife. Oh, I don't know about that.
I can't agree with that one.
I don't know about that, but you need to like pick something up to consume your time, because when you have too much free time, I think that's a big problem.
Oh yeah. Because
your mind starts to wander. You start to get involved in things that you shouldn't be getting involved in. Like mind your business. Like for example, 2006, I got a brand new Infiniti, the G35, the coupe.
Let's go.
Okay. Let's go. Yeah, it was great because I was living with my parents.
Yeah, those were nice when they first came out.
Yeah, when they first came out, they were pretty dope.
You said the coupe?
The coupe, yeah, the two-door. Nasty. Yeah, it was a great car. It snowed this much. I wasn't going anywhere. That's a different story.
Rear-wheel drive.
Rear-wheel drive, yeah. Now they make the all-wheel drive, I believe.
Yeah.
But people at the precinct were talking about it. Like, oh, look at this guy with his new car, blah, blah, blah.
Who's this guy? Michael Dowd.
Yeah, this guy, Mike Dowd. Yeah, great documentary, by the way. Yeah. Mike Dowd.
7'5", yeah.
7'5", yeah. But I don't have to explain myself to you. I have a friend on the, he's retired, Anthony. He had a brand new Corvette, but he was living with his parents. Okay. Parents weren't charging him rent, and he was able to afford that car. And someone called IAB on this guy. Ooh. For what reason?
You hear way too often. Just hate.
The hate.
Why so much?
Why are you so?
Why?
I used to work with this guy. I'm not going to mention his name because it's not worth it. This effing guy was so angry at everything. Bro, I hate this. I hate this. I go, well, you know what? What do you love? Let's start with that.
Every precinct has one, though.
He's so
every precinct has a guy.
He's angry, bro. Like, what do you? Now, I wake up breathing. It's a good day.
Yeah.
You have your whole day in front of you. If you're having a bad day, tomorrow's a fresh start. You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
Guys are just so filled with piss and vinegar. And then you did 20, 25 years, no matter what rank you are. Now you're filled with this anxiety and stress, and you hear guys, God forbid, having a heart attack, dropping dead for whatever health reasons.
Yeah.
You can, you gave your 25 years of your life to this job. The idea is to collect that pension for the next, God willing, 50 plus years. Hopefully, right? And people just don't know how to get rid of that stress and that anxiety.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
You do 20 years, you do 25 years. That's probably going to be the majority of your life.
Sure.
For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then to try to shake all of that off.
It's impossible.
Especially if you get on in your early 20s.
Yeah.
know?
That's half your life right there.
That's half your life. How do you shake all of that off?
It's a really good question. It's very difficult to be in a routine for so many years, right? Like my old partner, Brian, did midnights for God knows how long. And he retired about a year ago. And he's like, Steve, what do I do now? I'm like, well, you got to get into this. You got to learn how to unwind. Mm-hmm. Because if you're on a routine of going to bed, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, waking up in the afternoon, and then going to work for so many years, you need to learn how to slow that down, get into a normal sleep pattern like every other person, and start to get into civilization as a civilian, because you're not a police officer, you're not a cop anymore.
Right.
And some guys can't turn that off. It's impossible, because think about it, for 25 years, if you tie your sneakers a certain way in the morning, or you drink your morning coffee, and then all of a sudden one day there's no coffee and there's no, what, you're going to be like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But some guys just don't know how to get into that life, and just you got to chill, guy. You work so hard your whole life, slow it down, go on a vacation, pick up a hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I started to do this year in January? I started to draw. Okay.
Drawing.
And I find it
awesome.
very, and I saw a video on social media. I'm like, oh, let me just play. I'm like, wait, it's coming up. And I started to, every day I would draw. I would dedicate an hour a night after the kids went to sleep to drawing. And it's very, very therapeutic for me. And it's very relaxing. I don't have anyone screaming like the kids are fighting. It's a nice quiet area. Maybe put the TV on in the background, and I'll draw. And I went through several books of just drawing. It's so therapeutic. And I'm not going to toot my own, pretty good at it, actually.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I had no idea that I had that hidden talent that I could draw.
What was it that said drawing? Like what?
You know what? Like I said, I saw a video on social media, and I just, for some reason, I picked up on it. I'm like, oh, wow, this came out pretty nice. So I spent, I would say $100 on between pencils and drawing pads and stuff. Okay. And I'm like, all right, wow, I could do this okay, let me take it further and further and further. And then finally to the point that, like, I did my aunt a favor. She bought a second home in Virginia. I'm like, oh, give me the photo of the house you just bought. I hand drew her house for her, and she has it framed. I framed it for her, and she has it hung up on a wall.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's pretty great. Yeah, but I didn't know I had the hidden talent. It's pretty cool.
So cool, man. Bethpage, was that a cop town?
Yeah, there's a lot of cops and firemen that live over there. Not as strong like I currently reside in Massapequa. Yeah, exactly. Your reaction right there is next up, Massapequa. And it's all you can tell all the guys getting off the train. But it's a pretty blue collar neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It's mostly cops, firemen, civil servants. You do have all types of people living in that area, but it's a nice town to live in.
Okay. Yeah. So what did college life look like?
All right. So college, went to Nassau Community. I was on the 3-year cheers. Shout out to Nassau Community College.
Yes.
I was on the 3-year.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'll drink to that.
Same to me.
So one thing about me, I'm very intelligent, but when it comes to something that I'm not interested in, I brush it off. Like Christopher Columbus, 1492. I knew I wanted to be a police officer. I remember when I was in 4th grade, to go back to your question in a second, I'm looking out the window and my teacher is like, oh, Mr. Padullo, you're not going to do anything. I'm like, I'm going to be a cop. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm looking out, I don't want to.
So it's really ingrained in you. Like, you knew.
I knew what I want in my heart of hearts. I knew what I wanted to do. But to answer your questions, I went to Nassau Community. I was on the 3-year plan. And then I went to Farmingdale for a couple of semesters and SUNY Westbury. Truth be told, I'm maybe 8 or 9 credits short of my 4-year.
Okay.
It's one of my goals.
Yeah.
I actually want to go to law school someday.
Really?
Yeah, I want to apply, go to law school, get back into the college. But right now, it's not the right time for me. But I have 2 little kids. My life is too hectic and too busy. Maybe when the girls get older, I might go back to school when later on in life.
Why law school?
I always wanted to be an attorney. A part of me always wanted to be an attorney, and maybe a criminal defense attorney, because there's a lot of people I think now that are being arrested for the wrong reasons and they're being charged with the wrong charges, and I could just pick apart that paperwork. So I'll tell you real quick. So last May, a Nassau County officer, not shaming him or her, gave me not 1, not 2, not 3, gave me 4 parking tickets in front of my house at 1:30 in the morning.
In front of me.
In front of my own residence. And listen, I'm not, he or she was just doing their job. I get it.
Yeah.
So I looked at the summonses, and like one of the summonses, my registration had expired for 1 day. And truth be told, the DMV never sent me anything in the mail. So that's okay. All right, whatever. And whatever summonses, my plate was dirty. So what I did was I literally picked apart all 4 summonses, all 4 citations. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Pled not guilty, went to Nassau County Court, wore one of my suits. I walk in, hey, counselor. I'm like, I'm not an attorney, but thank you very much. Went to one of the windows. Oh, Padullo, room 4, window 4. And I pled my case. I showed them my case, and not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty.
Oh, good.
So it was like $480, I believe I would have had to have paid. If it was 1 citation, I probably wouldn't have wasted my time to go down there, because time is money.
Yeah.
I'm very busy in my life right now.
Right.
But 4,
ridiculous.
Little excessive. Especially when there's like they're stealing catalytic converters up north from where I live, and there's a lot of crime going on. Okay, I get it. We all have a job to do. Not shaming the guy or girl for write 1, be on your way. But you gave me 4, little excessive in my opinion.
Yeah, do you think he was doing that for his own benefit, make his numbers look good?
Yeah, it's possible. It's like I got this car. Let's give him 4 real quick. All right, I'm good for the night. I'm good for the week. And it's just like, because you and I both know.
We know it.
There's a quote. I mean, let's quote.
The numbers game.
The numbers game. 100.
Quotas are real.
Quotas are real. I remember I'm at a family party going back almost 20 years ago. Oh, what do you do? I work. I think this guy worked at whatever boating company. He's like, well, I'm a police officer. Oh, and then he know me from hole in the wall, and he goes, "You guys and your quotas. Let me ask you a question, my man. What do you do all day?" He's like, "Oh, I sell boats." Okay, so if you sat at your desk for 25 days a month, or 20, whatever your schedule is, and you sold 0 boats that month, don't you think your boss would be a little upset at you at the end of the month? He's like, yeah, well, same thing as being a cop. You're expected to perform a certain amount of level of activity, and period. You call it a quota, I call it a quota, whatever you want to call it, it's a quota.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Well, see, the whole thing is just say it for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think the fact that they try to say that it doesn't exist and it does, that's where people have the problem.
Yeah. You know what? Just be straightforward with the public. There's quota, activity, whatever you want to call it.
Police officers, they're expected to perform, and this is the way that you quantify it.
100%. 100%.
Can't knock it.
Yeah,
it's just the now aspect that people have an issue with.
Of course, yeah. And it's you know what? And I believe with policing, a lot of young guys don't realize you pull somebody over, for example, officer, I'm having a bad day, I'm fighting with my wife. All right, have a good one.
Yeah.
But the younger guys are so hungry and so aggressive, like we all were. There has to be a class, or someone has to teach these kids, use your discretion a little bit more. Not every criminal that you encountered, okay, at least for me, is a perp. What I mean by that is maybe I stop a guy and his license is suspended.
Yeah.
It's not a bad dude. He forgot to pay his tag.
Right.
The guy hopped over a turnstile, for example. Listen, I'm trying to get home. All right, depth of service, no big deal, okay? Every person, so I have close to 200 arrests in my career. And in the academy, this instructor had told us a story that I would love to share with you. He had arrested somebody on the train platform for whatever it was, and he treated this guy like a gentleman. He bought him a slice of pizza, let him have a cigarette in the cell. 3 months later, the same officer is at the same location. He's fighting with somebody, fighting with a different guy, and the guy he locked up the first time and jumped in. He goes, "Now we're even." So ever since I heard that,
wow,
yeah, he was at that. He goes, "Now we're even." It was because you treated me like a human. And ever since then, I promised myself I always treat people with dignity and respect.
And we're talking probably like 90s and 80s.
Yeah, back then. Yep, correct. And when you deal, to take a step back, if you got a guy that like did a sexual assault or something serious,
Of course.
guy's a perp.
Well,
Like,
that's when we talk discretion.
yeah,
That's-
that's discretion. But I'm talking like stole a candy bar or like something like so minute
Yeah.
that you want to press charges. Now you're responding to this call. You can't you can't get rid of it because you're on camera. You have a job to do. All right, let me work with this guy. Let me try and get him out of the precinct with the desk appearance ticket. If he doesn't qualify, if she doesn't qualify, let me get him a slice of pizza. And you know what? That person will probably forever remember you were treated with dignity, from this officer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When did you go into the police academy?
So July 1st of 2004. Okay.
Okay.
I remember we were in Queens College, and it was hot that day. Oh my goodness.
So you were at Queens College?
Yeah.
I was at Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah.
It was hot. And I remember this Sergeant Green. I don't know if he's still on the job. His name is Sergeant Green. Okay. And he's yelling and he's running up and down. I'm like, oh my God. Like, what do we get ourselves into?
African American?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes.
Sergeant Green.
Sergeant Green.
Sergeant Green is awesome. I talk to his son all the time. Sergeant Green.
Is he still active or did he retire?
No, he retired.
Okay.
I actually made a post on Sergeant Green. Shout out to Sergeant Green.
Shout out to Sergeant Green. Gentleman.
Yes.
Absolute gentleman. Yes.
And he worked in driver's training for a while.
Yes, he did.
Yes,
he did.
Man,
shout out to Sergeant Green.
I'll make sure that I clip this, Sergeant Green. You see that we're giving you your props once again. He retired, moved down to Delaware, opened up Finest Security, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And he's doing his thing down in Delaware.
God bless him.
Actually, I ran into one of his workers at a Best Buy that I shop at. My parents live in Delaware.
Oh, okay.
So when I go down there, no sales tax.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, whatever. Actually, most of the equipment that's in here, it either came from Amazon or it came from that Best Buy.
Yeah, there you go.
In Delaware,
Hey,
because
listen,
it's tax-free.
Things add up. You got to save money, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all about shopping the sales. I'm all about saving your money. I'm all about, listen, you work hard. Why pay that tax? For what reason? For what reason?
Yeah, so I bought my MacBook Pro from there.
Okay.
And I saved about $200, $300.
Yo, that adds up after a while.
Yeah,
2 here,
100%.
50 here.
Yeah.
That adds up after a while. And
Yeah.
listen, why give the government your money that you work so hard for? For what reason?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I saw that he posted on on Facebook that this was the name of his company, and one of the security guards that were in front, I was like, "You work for Sergeant Green, or you work for Gregory Green?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "He used to,
Instructor. Yeah.
he was an instructor."
Instructor
at NYPD.
academy.
And then I made a post, and I was like, "It's great to see when people from the NYPD retire, and then they use what it is that they learned and their skills to create businesses or whatever else." And I just talked about every time I had an encounter with him, it was always very encouraging. And
Very
he was
positive,
always passionate
right?
about
It
the
was always-
job.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was super classy about it. So I shouted him out and he was like, "Thank you." And he invited me over to his headquarters. I haven't gone yet, but I'm off on a little tangent. But it's funny how you encountered him in 2004 in the academy. And
and then if you were talking about him over 20 years later, it's like, I had this one CEO, Terry Herson. Okay. He was a captain. He's now a 1-star chief.
Yeah.
Guy was a gentleman. The guy, I never understood guys who ran their commands with like, an iron fist. Like, why treat you men and women like that? Like, we had this one guy, I won't even mention his name. If your activity wasn't up, you were not getting Christmas. He would put out 8 patrol cars on Christmas Day. For what reason? There's no reason to do that. Because the guy didn't write you a C summons. The guy didn't write an extra mover this month. He didn't give a shit. He could care less. He's like, no, you're working 18 years on the job. So you're working Christmas Eve. You're working Christmas Day.
disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting. Now, going back to the shout out to Terry Herson, by the way, complete gentleman. They don't make them like it anymore. He would say, jump all the guys, sir, how high? Because, like, for example, on Thanksgiving, he went by tax numbers and time on the job.
Okay.
And he went all the way down the list. Okay. The kid with 2-3 years on the job, next year you'll get off Thanksgiving. I want the men and women to be home with their families for the holidays. And that's a gentleman. Like, treat your men with respect and they're gonna work for you.
That's right.
Yeah, that's facts.
Right.
Those are facts right there.
Yeah. So 04,
2000.
Sergeant Green, what happened? He said he was screaming?
He was yelling. I remember standing in line. He was just yelling. He's like, get in line, blah, blah. Like, oh my God. And like, it's hot because you're in a full suit.
Oh yeah.
Shirt and tie.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, now you're inside and you're in these cramped little chairs, these wooden chairs at the colleges. and you found all this paperwork and everything. It was fun times back then, right?
Yeah. I was at Brooklyn College, like I said, so I know in the summer,
in
July,
in July.
so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. What year did you come on?
06.
06. So you were at 235 East 20th Street, the original academy.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember that gym block? It was.
And I remember being in my suit in the basement, standing in formation, waiting to get into that locker room.
Oh yeah, it was so hot and humid.
It was brutal. People were passing out left and right.
Remember on that mustard deck?
Oh yeah, that too.
If you don't know about that mustard deck, you're in that suit in a dark like this one. You're in a dark colored suit. Sun's beating down on you, and guys would lock their knees. You would stand straight up, and you could see guys like in formation. They started falling out.
It's like funerals.
That's exactly.
It's the same thing.
Wearing your Class A's, going to. Oh my God, that's brutal. That's unbelievable. Yeah.
So you're in Queens College.
Yep.
04.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did that feel like?
This is real. This is like real. This is real world. Like we're really doing this. Like I would. How do I explain it? It was just like, this is so surreal for me. This is what I wanted to do. And then, the academy was the academy. Back then it was actually had some standards. We had to do that. Remember the 1.5 mile run, the push-ups, the sit-ups.
Yeah.
You had to pass all your exams. Now I feel like the level of guys and girls that they're hiring is just, it's so subpar. It's like, it's so diluted and watered down. I see some of these, photos on, social media about graduating classes.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at some of these recruits, and some of these guys are like morbidly obese. Like their stomachs are down to their knee. Like these guys are big guys, and you just graduate in the academy. I can't believe that. I am just blown away. I mean, the level of fitness that they lowered is unreal. I can't believe they did that. But in the police department's defense, no one's taking the job.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. No one's taking the job. Nobody wants the job. And do you blame them?
I don't.
Do
especially with what's about to happen.
Oh my God, the mayor with the college, the electoral that's coming, the mayor that's coming up. It's unbelievable.
You know what? People complain about this guy that's in there right now, but there's always somebody that can be worse, bro.
I had this one lieutenant. Okay. Shout out to Lieutenant Mark Padgett, by the way, gentleman. He would always say, "Hey, Lou, how you doing? Could be better. Could be a lot worse." And I would always, when I heard him say that, I would be like, "Wow, like that's right." Like people don't realize there's always somebody so much worse off than you in this earth.
100%.
Like people missing their arms, their legs, and people complaining, "Oh, they put too much cream in my coffee at Starbucks." Like, grow up. Like, get over it. Like, be grateful for what you have. Thank God for everything that you're breathing. People, with COVID that happened, how many people passed away, lost family members that are, buried, or people have this incurable disease or what have you, or sick children. You're a parent. I don't know what I would do if one of my daughters, God forbid, had a serious disease. Like to go through that mentally. Like, why are you so upset? Like about the little things in life. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
Exactly. So your dream was to be a police officer.
Yeah.
You get in 04.
Yep.
Blast through the academy, I'm sure.
Blast through the academy.
Where do you go?
So now we do our first detail. We had after Gun and Shield Day. We are in Times Square.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And luckily, it was like in the 30s that night. Because there have been some Times Square, New Year's Eve's, turn on the news. Oh, it's 8 degrees with the wind chill. I was so fortunate never to experience that working. I worked it, I believe, 3 or 4 times. The Times Square detail.
I only worked it once.
Once, okay.
Yeah.
But it was in like the mid 30s. I'm like, and that's warm.
Yeah.
That's considered warm for New York.
Absolutely.
Because I remember a few New Year's Eves, like I would walk out of my house, like before I'd be in a cop, and I'm like, holy, like it's like brutal. It's brick.
Yeah.
You walk from the front door to your car, your nose is frozen. Imagine being out there 16 hours, and you can't get that cold out of your bones.
You can't.
You can't. No matter how hot of a shower you take, or you drink soup, or what have you, you just can't get that out of you. It is just brutal.
The worst part was when you go into the Marriott.
Yes.
To have the food.
Yeah.
Nice spread. I don't know if they still have that.
I don't know. I think they do, actually. I could be wrong.
Okay. I think they do.
I hope they do. Yeah. They take care of the guys over there.
Yeah.
The guys are on there. And don't say, oh, free food. No, people are on their break. Like, they're on their break. Like, They take care of the guys and girls, and it's somewhere to rest your feet. Just get off the street for a little bit, have something to eat. Yeah, Marriott does the right thing. Yeah.
But it's so comfortable in there.
Yeah, remember?
And then when you have to come back out.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like waking up. Do you, oh, wait a minute. I want to go back to bed. I don't want to go to work right now. Like it's like, oh, I got to go back out on the street. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So where do you go after the academy?
So after the academy, I went to the 7-5 precinct, which is 7-5 East New York.
Did you want to go to the 7-5?
I did not. So at the time, I had a hook, okay, and I was expecting to go to some Queens precinct. And as in the academy, they're reading off your last names, like, oh, Padullo 7-5. What?
Wait, so let's go back to the hook part.
Yeah.
Right. How did you have a hook?
So it was through a friend of a friend that we had. I went out. I actually forgot this guy's name, but oh, I'll take care of you, yada, yada, yada. Give me your tax number, your last name, expecting for him to make a phone call.
Was this a friend that you met while you were in the academy? Or
it was a friend of my uncle, actually, that I had met.
From the Port, your uncle that was in the Port?
No, another uncle, another family member of mine. Okay. And he was connected to the police somehow. And he'd go, yeah, I know this guy. I'll make a call for you. So when they announced the 7-5, I'm like, guess I'm going to the 7-5. But I'm happy I went to the 7-5. You want to know why?
Why?
Because you learn real quick.
Yeah.
You have no choice. Okay. You're thrown into the lion's den, if you will. And back then, we didn't bother the bosses for anything. All we had was each other. It's all we had. Like, oh, you're post 1, I'm post 2. All right, let's hook up. Like, for example, I got shout out to Doug Percival, by the way. He was my adjoining post. So we learned from each other. Like we were cops back then. In 2000, now we're in 2005. You know, we were like the little puppies that were running away from the mother's den, if you will. Like we learned, and it was and you learned quick. Because now it's January, March, warmer, people are coming out, and that radio is getting busier and busier and busier. Yeah. And you learn how to, you're not saying you're going to learn today, kid. Oh, we learned. And we learned quick. And versus if you graduate the academy and you go to a very slow command, now you become a supervisor. Now you're in a busy command. These guys and girls don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah,
because they were never cops.
Right.
Yeah.
So you did impact there.
Did impact there for about maybe, I want to say 9 or 10 months, and then transfers were coming down. And then I got transferred to the 9-4 precinct. It was me and one other guy. Went to the 9-4, and initially when I got there, I was in patrol.
Is that when your hook kicked in?
No, that was actually, so I was dating this girl at the time. Her next door neighbor worked for one of the chiefs. Oh. And she's like, well, where do you want to go? I'm like, I want to go to Queens. Like, I can't do that. Anywhere in Brooklyn North. I'm like, all right, how's the 9-4? I'm like, all right, 9-4 it is. And I'm happy I went there. I made a lot of, friends, people that I consider family for the rest that I will forever be close with for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it was a good man. The commute was horrible. The commute was just god awful. There was no, subway. It was like the G line, but it was the transfers. It was either you drive and you sit in the car for an hour and a half, or you're on its public system, transportation for an hour. I'm like, I'm going to sit in the car for an hour and a half.
You working in the 7-5, I know you've encountered some crazy stuff. Any crazy stories that stand out in your head?
From the 7-5, okay, so they had overtime back then. I forgot the name of it because they're always rewarding the overtime.
Yeah, it's like impact overtime.
It was like Tracer, yes. They had 7-5 Tracer cars back then, or SNU. So you would sign out because all I remember as a rookie, I just wanted to be in that car. I wanted to drive that patrol car. So we signed up for overtime. Me and this other rookie. And we're driving around Highland Boulevard, which is up north, and some detectives calling for assistance. I'm like, oh my God, that's a run around the block. So they were interviewing, whatever this guy was wanted for, they had arrested this guy, but he had to call emergency service to wrap him up because he was very violent. He was fighting, he was cuffed up and still in the back of the patrol car. He was kicking out the rear window. And I remember, Sarge, what's the procedure for replacing the window? And now I'm brand new, and this is all new to me.
Sure.
And so now I'm in the back of the ambulance, and this guy was either on something or he's all pumped up. Okay. And I remember like EMS giving him whatever narcotic they gave him. He's wrapped up. Okay. Now we go to some psych ward. Okay. Not Bellevue, but whatever hospital we went to.
Okay.
Mind you, he's rear handcuffed. He's wrapped up like a taco. They gave him 2 shots. They gave him another shot when we get there. I'm like, Now he's in the cell, but the cell isn't locked. Okay. The guy's laying down on the floor. I'm like, all right, let me grab something, go to the bathroom, grab something to drink. I come back. The guy's running down the hall.
Oh,
I
no.
saw my career flash before my eyes. I could not believe the guy was out cold, rear handcuffed, wrapped up like a taco. And I don't know how the hell he got loose. This MFer got loose, and I'm like, what?
But he still had the cuff.
He still had the cuffs on. I think I remember. I remember uncuffing him and then putting him back, and I put him back in the cell, and he just finally passed out. But that was like a moment of God.
Yeah,
that was it right there and then.
I feeling this happened to me.
Oh. So I'm like, I need fresh underwear because I just like, oh my God. And if anyone don't know, lost prisoners, that's a big escape prison.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
I'll tell you a story real quick.
Go ahead. I love.
Yeah. So my partner and I at the time, we put a guy in the back of the RMP. This is with the Ford Explorers.
Okay.
And I think he just committed a robbery or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we put him in the back of the Explorer, and we're trying to figure out the rest of the circumstance. We're trying to get the whole story.
Trying to get the whole story.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, you just hear boom. He's rear cuffed. All of a sudden, we see him running down the block out of the RMP. Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep. This is on 109th Street between 3rd and Lexington Avenue. So you have the subway on 110th Street.
Oh, he's running towards the subway.
He's running toward the subway.
Rear cuffed.
Rear cuffed.
Well, you put over the radio yet under yet or no? Or an arrest yet or no?
I didn't put it over as an under yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't put it over as an under yet. So same thing. I'm seeing red. Career's gone. Dude books it. Heads over to Lexington Avenue. Goes down into the subway. I'm like, this dude is going to run on the tracks 100%.
Oh,
that's what it is that I'm thinking.
You gave it to catch up to him?
Luckily.
Wow.
Luckily, we had 2 housing cops
that were there.
Yes. And they were able to, man. And they ran down there along with us, but they were ahead, and they tackled him. He was trying to go down one side, and then he was going to pop up on the other. I was like, if this dude goes on the tracks,
it's over. It's a wrap.
It's over.
It's a wrap. Yeah. So whatever happened with that? Would bosses get involved or?
I had a great boss, bro.
Okay.
Great CEO.
Yeah.
And he held it down. I was an NCO at the time.
Okay.
He knew that we grinded and we did everything that
He took care. He did the right thing.
I always took care of him.
Okay. And listen, and that's how it should be. And rightfully so. You take care of the boss. The boss, it's a two-way street.
Yep.
Not some of these bosses give. Hey, can I get? No. It's like, whoa. Why am I going to work for you now?
The crazy part is I'm not going to say who I was working with at the time. I told the truth. I was straight up.
Yep.
I was like, it is what it is. Like, you can't go, like, I already had a circumstance in my career where I was put in a bad situation. I was told that if I didn't say something a certain way, then I was going to get in trouble by a boss, or the boss wouldn't get credit. Pretty much, I should perjure myself.
Oh, so they want you to commit perjury. Okay.
Yeah.
So are they going to come to jail and bail you out? Like
exactly.
No, I'm not down with that.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
And then I did the right thing. I spoke to some other cops, and it was like, listen, you already said what you said. Just tell them, listen,
this is what happened. This is what really happened. This is the truth.
And I was a rookie. I only had maybe like 10 months.
Okay, yeah, brand new.
Something like that.
Yeah,
brand new.
Yeah.
But I felt the pressure of the numbers game. I felt the pressure.
Yeah.
This is 07.
Yeah.
And that was heavy. So anyway, I learned from that circumstance. So I said, I'm just telling the truth straight up. If I lose my career, it is what it is. If I get penalized, transferred, jammed up, it is what it is.
It's what it is. Yeah.
The guy that I was working with, he got a little shaky and he started shifting the story up. Luckily, this boss was so good that he was able to go back to my sergeant. He was like, make sure that this dude gets his story straight. Because if he doesn't,
the problem,
I'm going to do him in.
Yeah.
And then, he told me.
Thank God you made it out okay. Yeah. You made it out straight up. Yeah, that's good.
Not even a blip on the radar.
Listen, I was always raised, tell the truth and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's just, I'll tell you, remember Atlas Overtime? Remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
It was nice. You're at one park, you get the whole day, right?
Easy.
So I remember the story. I'm leaving whatever precinct I'm leaving. I'm going back to and I was in those little 3-wheel scooters. I'm like, all right, red light. I'm like, all right, go to the red light. I want to get back. I want to go home. And all of a sudden, before I know it, there's an unmarked car with the lights on. I'm like, oh, these crime guys, the hell out of here. And now the guy's hitting the siren. It's a duty captain. He's like, officer, are you going to a 13 or an 85? I go, no, sir. He goes, meet me back at the precinct. Oh boy. So it was January, February. It was really cold. I remember. And this guy, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, sir, I told the truth. Sir, I'm just trying to go home. I want to go home to my family. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I live in Nassau County. I'm just trying to. He's like, oh, you want to go home? And he's chewing me. And he's chewing like, you know what? He's like, you could have got hurt. I'm like, sir, you're right. You absolutely. And he's chewing me. And at the end of the chewing, he's like, but now you're getting a rip. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a rip. So I didn't think anything of it. And a couple of months went by. My XO, which is the rank of a captain, if anyone knows, pulls me aside. He's like, you got this CD over here. What happened? I'm like, sir, I told the truth. Guys were like, you should have told him you had to go to the bathroom. You should have told him you had the runs. I told the truth. So the captain looks at me and goes, you know what? I told the truth in my career. It got me 6 years of midnights. You told the truth. He ripped the CD up right in front of me.
Ooh.
Yeah, he took care of me. He ripped it off. Listen, you got me. I'm an adult. I'm a big boy. I'm not going to BS myself, BS you. I'm going to tell you straight up what happened. Because why dig myself deeper? Why? Just, it's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's what it is. I could take one on the chin. You shake it off, you move forward.
Every new guy needs to hear this.
Yeah.
New guy and girl, just be straight up.
Be straight up. That's the best advice. Just be honest. Don't lie about anything. It's only going to get yourself dug deeper. And the truth be told, they know. Before you get down to IA or whatever you're going down for, they already know the answers. Why lie? Why perjure yourself? Over what reason?
That's a fact.
Now you're in even 10 times more trouble and more trouble. Is it worth it?
It's not.
At the end of the day, is it worth it?
It's not.
You're going to give up a career. You're going to give up
your freedom, possibly.
Your freedom, which is priceless. You cannot put a price tag on your freedom. Is it worth it? Why lie over what? It's not worth it.
It isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't. You get to the 9-4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get to the 9-4. I was on 4 to 12 patrol, but I was getting like the hospitalized prisoners. I was getting the walkthroughs. I remember the platoon transports. You're brand new. Listen, you got to pay your dues. Yeah. You got to pay your dues.
It is what it is.
It's like any other type of employment.
That's right.
You got to pay your dues. Okay. And I remember on the 4th day of work in a row, the lieutenant pulls me aside. He goes, I'm sorry. I go, I'm the new guy. I get it. I'm the rookie. I have to do it. So then after a while, they put a post up for a conditions unit, which I did not want. I did not want this. Lieutenant pulls me aside. He's like, did you see the posting? I'm like, yeah, I saw it. He's like, did you consider it? And I'm like, no, thank you, LT. I'm good. Okay.
Well, if you don't mind explaining, what is conditions?
So conditions is a unit that their primary goal is to address precinct conditions, homelessness. Is there graffiti being put up at whatever locations? Is there people in the park smoking marijuana? Is there different, quality of life conditions that I did not want to do because the tour was 5:30 at night till 2 o'clock in the morning. Impact hours with Sunday, Mondays off, meaning I am working every Friday and Saturday night. I'm in my young mid-20s. Who wants to work every Friday and Saturday night? I didn't want to. And one day I get pulled in. This feels like yesterday. I get pulled into his office. He's like, all right, you and another guy you're in the conditions unit right now. And I'm like the life was sucked out of me. He goes, I remember the conversation. He goes, it's a paramilitary organization. You're being ordered. I'm like, okay, I can't refuse this order. And now I'm in this unit I don't want to be in. It was a very, very upsetting. I don't want to use the word depressing. It was a very upsetting time.
It could be though.
It could be. Because I remember, living with my parents and I'm leaving the house. I'm on the Long Island Expressway heading in now in the summer, driving into work on a Friday night and everyone's going east the other direction. It's like, who wants to do that?
I worked midnights for 3 years, so I know the feeling.
Yeah. Well, midnights I liked. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
And I was in this unit and, guys at the precinct were like, why? And now, mind you, this post was up for a while. And now I'm forced into this unit and some cops were giving me a hard time. Why are you part of this unit? Who the F are you? You want to do it? No? Then why are you breaking my chops?
Yeah, why would they?
They had nothing else better to do, I guess. It's like, why are you giving me a hard time? I don't want to do it. You want to take my post? Have at it.
But what was the negativity that was associated with being in conditions?
It was because you're a summons writer, I guess, or you're whatever term they wanted to use. Like, I don't want to do this job right now. I want to do patrol. I want to learn the job. I want to be with the other guys. I want to be with the senior guys, learning how to learn. No, my career kind of started off slowly, almost going backwards, if you will, because all I was doing is, yeah, you're making an arrest, but it was BS. But like, you're writing summonses, and it wasn't my thing. At that moment, I wanted to learn the job. Now I'm being forced into this unit that I didn't want to be in. And it was one of the worst parts of my career. I hated it. I hated every second of it.
Were you given numbers that you had to hit?
Oh yeah. So back then, let me see, I'm gonna get my numbers right. So you had to write every month around 30 C summonses a month. 30. That's 30. Guys are drinking a cold beer on a summer day, trespassing, quality of life summonses. And I believe they wanted one arrest a month as well. And, sometimes at the word discretion, I couldn't use because I knew in the back of my head, if you didn't come with your numbers, God help you with this captain. I won't even say his name. So this guy was ruthless. If you didn't hit your number, holy crap, may God be with you.
What did that do for you with you wanting to be a police officer? Right. And then you get in it. Matter of fact, let's go back. With you wanting to be a police officer, what did you think that entailed? Compared to what it wound up being?
You know what? That's a really good question. I never thought that's what I would be doing so-and-so, you're having a beer in front of your house. So I'm sorry. I got to get your ID. I got to write you. Because you know what? I couldn't use discretion a lot because we were under so much pressure back then to make your number that if you were on vacation, for example, or you were out sick, he didn't give you shit. You needed that number. You needed every month, that number. And it's the truth. It's like, but they just, I'm not a cop. I'm like a traffic agent, if you will. Like I didn't want to do it, but you have no choice. You've given the lawful order. And as you know, you got to follow that order.
Yeah.
And I felt like, guys pulled me aside after a while, like, just go to the captain, tell me you want to be in this unit. Cool, no problem. But this guy's vindictive.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. You don't want to be in the unit? I understand, like, very condescendingly. What tour would you like? So they have to think psychologically. Do I tell him midnights? So he'll put me on days. Do I tell him days? So he puts me on 4 to 12s? What would I say to him? Right. And I just rode the wave out. I just rode it for a little, like, wow, God help me. Just let me just get through this for a little bit. Like, it was God awful. I can't even begin to explain how bad it was. I hated it every second.
With you wanting to be a police officer when you were younger and before getting on the job, what did you think that it would,
like, would entail?
What did you think would be the scope of your duties?
Like, going to work, hey, afternoon, good morning, whatever. All right, let's get my coffee. All right, let's go pick up some radio calls, get my donut, right? Which, truth be told, I think I've had like under 10 donuts my whole career while at work. So that whole Dunkin' Donuts BS, that's nonsense. Yeah. But I thought, like, just answering radio calls, getting help for people that needed us. The general public, 99% of the general public are good people, men and women. Yep. Then that get into car accidents, or they have a domestic, or sometimes there's some serious crimes, guys doing a home invasion. Like, we got to get there. We got to get there quick and help this person, this family. That's what I thought it would be like. Yeah. I didn't know what to expect. Not that. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now?
If you had known that ahead of time, do you think you would still be passionate about being a police officer?
That's a really good question.
Because the problem is, I don't know how things stand now.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I had the same perspective as you.
Yeah.
And if I would have known, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And I don't think most police officers know what they're getting into. And I've made a post on that. So just give me your take.
If I would have known, I don't know. I still would want to be a cop.
Okay.
Okay. And I took, Suffolk County test. I took the Nassau County Police exam. I took the Port Authority test.
Okay.
And Port Authority actually called me. But back then, I believe it was 2006 when they called me. That's when Ray Kelly wasn't releasing your records to the Port Authority Police Department. And I went down to Jersey. I went down with civilians. I'll never forget this. They had 2 rows of civilians and they had 2 rows of NYPD active officers. And we filled out the paperwork, and they went to go drug test 2 rows of civilians, and they closed the door. And I'll never forget this. Some detective, like, this is the part we tell you you're never going to get hired. And I'm like, oh my God. Because it was very political back then. I don't know exactly what happened with the Port.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
With Ray Kelly and, the releasing of the records. And like I said earlier in this interview, my Uncle Frank, the Port Authority sergeant, very well connected, knew all the higher ups, made the phone calls for me, and like, Frank, we can't hire this kid. My uncle was like, listen, I'm vouching for Steve. He's a good guy, level-headed guy. He's like, we can't hire him no matter. I was almost if I was tainted, And then, but now you fast forward to today, you guys are transferring to Port Authority from the city, and God bless you guys. God bless you guys. But I took every local state exam that I possibly could have taken, and unfortunately, I was never called. Cool, all good. Because a lot of these tests, I remember I took the Suffolk County test in '08. Okay. And my friend Kevin at the time had called me. He's like, you still studying for your sergeant test? I'm like, oh, what's up? He's like, oh, your Suffolk County results are out. I'm like, yeah, what'd I get? Oh, you got an 86.5. List number is 16,820. I'm still waiting for them to call me. So unless you get, upper 90s, 100 plus with your military, it's very difficult to get.
Yeah, back then it was very difficult.
Back then, I remember reading an article. I'll never forget this. Better chance of getting into Harvard than getting into the Suffolk County. As a white male, they said, better chance of getting into Harvard than the Suffolk County Police Department. I could not believe what I was, like 30,000+ people would take that test.
Yeah.
It was unreal, but it's all good. If everything happens for a reason, I believe God has a plan for everybody on this earth. I truly do. At the end of the day,
100%.
He has a plan for you, for me, for everybody. Everything happens for a reason. And there was a reason why I didn't go to Port Authority. There was a reason why I didn't pass the Suffolk. Well, I wasn't called by Suffolk County. There was a reason for it. I didn't see it back then as a young 20-something-year-old male. Yeah. As a 45-year-old adult, I now see the light a lot clearer.
Got you. Very interesting. I love it. So what did that do for you mentally with having to be in that conditions unit?
It was really, really, I'm glad you brought that up. It was a very stressful time for me. And it was my mental health. I wouldn't say I was going through a depression, but I would say I wasn't happy. And being a rookie and being not happy, you have a long career in front of you, my friend. Like, I speak to guys now, oh, I got 8 years on the job. Oh, this job sucks. I'm like, dude, you got 12+ to go. It's a long career. But to answer your question, it's just, it took a toll on my mental health. And I kept everything bottled up. I kept everything inside. I kept it to myself. Who was I going to go to? Who was I going to speak to? And God forbid you speak to somebody and you say the wrong words. Oh, you're modified. You lose your gun. You lose your shield. Not because I was going, but just because I said the wrong thing. Now you're labeling me.
Right.
Not good. Not good at all. So I kept everything inside, and I wrote it out. And thank God I made it through it, because it was such a tough time for me in my career. I was not happy whatsoever.
How long did you do conditions?
I believe I was in that unit for maybe a year and a half, 2 years or so. So we went from 5:30 to 2s. Then we went from 2 to 10:30. So I'm like, oh, a little bit better. Not much, but still the hours shifted. But at the same time, you're still doing that work of that grinding every month, that grind. I was over it. I was over it big time. And thank God I was able to finally go back to 412 patrol, start to learn the job, start to get some time under my belt, start to answer calls, start to just be a cop, just to learn the job and learn how things are done. And I'm so happy that I was able to get out of there.
How did that change your personality with having to be this person that couldn't use discretion because you had to hit numbers? What did that do for you?
It was eat me alive on and off the job. It was just like, because now you do this job 5 days a week, and it's very difficult to close that locker and go home to your family and just turn it off, because you're filled with anger and hate, because you're doing something every day. And I understand there's millions of people on this, on this earth that hate their job, that wake up, still got bills to pay, right? Still have responsibilities. You have to still feed your family and take care of yourself, and pay that cell bill and your car note and everything. So I couldn't just get up and walk away. So I had to do what I had to do, and that was. And they gave us overtime and all that good stuff. Now I worked till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That was blood money. That was money that you can keep. You can keep that, man. It was just looking back at it now, it was such a BS. Yeah, it was nonsense.
Huge compromise.
Yeah. Oh my God. Because mental health, you cannot put a price tag on that. It is so important to be mentally fit on this job. I mean, guys, unfortunately, you hear stories of they take their own lives. They don't reach out. You know, they don't ask for help. It's god awful when you hear those type of stories.
Were you in a relationship at that time?
I was in most of my career, I was, you know, the running joke at one of the guys at work. Oh, Steve, who are you dating this week? And I'm like, oh, you know, so Steve, who are you dating? All right, what happened to this girl? I'm like, yeah, she gave me a hard time. And they would laugh. Like, I wasn't that type of person that, you know, I would put up with the nonsense. I'm such a young guy. Like, I had so much to offer. Like, I wouldn't stick with someone just because to be with somebody. I'm cool being by myself. It's all good. But at the time I was with someone, her name was Ashley. And I remember laying on her couch in the basement. I was just like crying. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm just so effing miserable at work.
Wow.
This is eating me alive.
Wow.
I was just sitting there crying, but I couldn't go to anybody on the job. I couldn't, because I was in fear that I would be, you know, labeled, or now that stigma follows you throughout your whole career. We worked with an officer, I won't say his name. He did several tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he gets to work one day. He just snaps out. He broke down, and he's standing at muster room, and he's holding his police hat as if he's in the military, and the guy needed help. But guys at work were labeling him like, oh, this guy's crazy.
He's an EDP.
He's an ADP. He's an emotionally disturbed. And I became very offended by that. I'm like, what do you mean he's emotionally disturbed? He's like, oh, stay away from him. I'm like, he fought for our freedom in our country for 3 tours in Iraq. How many tours did you do over there?
3 tours.
3 tours. Okay.
3 tours.
18 months times 3. Do the math. Okay. And I'm sure he saw things and did things that he's not proud of, or whatever, what have you. How many tours do you do in Iraq? Tell you what, do 1 tour and we'll chat. I never went over there. Okay. So I can't imagine what that man saw. But up here, it wasn't right. But he got himself better, and he got himself out. And last time I heard, he recently retired. And I wish him well in his new chapter in life. But it's god awful what these guys go through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How did you manage to get out? Did you have a new CO?
So from looking back, I was able. Yeah, I think they disbanded the unit. I remember. Yes, they disbanded, and they asked us, "What tour do you want?" And I was fortunate enough to get the 4 to 12 patrol that I was so eagerly desiring and wanting. And I did patrol for about 7 or 8 years. Shout out to Dirty Sanchez. Freddie Sanchez, love you, man. One of the best partners I ever had on this job. Him and I, you know, we rode together. You know that saying, we ride together, we die together, bad boys for life.
Yep.
You know, Freddie and I, we pretty much speak to this day, almost every day. He texted me actually driving in. One of the greatest, I had several partners that I consider family, that I still to this day I speak to, and it's amazing. And you know, as you know, partners are like a marriage, right? You go your good times, you go through your bad. Absolutely. And I remember one day Freddie and we broke up. He broke up with me. He's like, listen, I need a break, and it was a very weird time for me. Like, it's like, ooh, these guys broke. Everyone at the Precinct now. Remember?
Yeah, the drama. Yeah, they love it. They love it.
They love it.
Yeah.
Okay. And to this day, we never spoke about it, but I get it. I respect it. Like, maybe you needed a break. I get it. So I had a new partner, and then after a couple of years, him and I got back together. It's one of the best things we ever did. Love him like a brother. Love him like family. And I miss those days riding together, man. It was a good time.
What do you think of the essentials to a solid partnership?
You know what? You need like that yin and yang. You need like one. He was excellent with the paperwork. I'm a very good public speaker. I know how to talk to people. He also spoke fluent Spanish as well, which helped us on some of the jobs.
Yeah.
And it's just that personalities. Like, you guys need to, like peanut butter and jelly. You guys need to. And there's some guys that don't mesh, that don't go together, because this guy's type A personality and this guy is also type A. And now you have that, you're like, oh. Yeah. You can't have like 2 guys that always want to take the lead, or, it was just him and I just fell into this rhythm and this routine that I had his back, he had my back, and we had everyone else's back at the Precinct. We loved it, and the tour would fly by, because there was never any awkward silent moments in the car. From the moment we sat down, we were just like,
just vibing.
He's just a good dude. Like, love him dearly. And other guys too, and girls that I worked with as well. But Freddie is probably one of the best partners I ever had, and I miss him dearly working with him.
Yeah. Well, one of the weird things for me is being really cool with somebody
Yeah.
outside of a partnership, but then being in a partnership, it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's, you know what? It's funny you say that because there's a lot of guys, let me rephrase that. There's some guys that I worked with that I don't want to sit next to in a patrol car, but we're at the bar, we're having some drinks. Oh, this guy's dope. This guy's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This guy's great. This girl's great.
Right.
But when you're in uniform, that's a different story.
Right.
Okay. You're lazy. Your uniform looks like shit. That was one of my pet peeves as a cop. Guys and girls that looked like dog shit. I hated it. To this day, I hate it. You know, put a little polish on your boots. Take pride in your appearance. Because I felt that's half the battle. You know, you see a sloppy cop, you could be challenged, right? People are going to think you're going to
100%. Yeah.
You ever see a sloppy state trooper? I never seen a sloppy state trooper.
No.
Okay. I get pulled over. Let's say I've been pulled over 15 times or 10 times. I'm hands on the steering column, you know, trooper, even though we're law enforcement, I'm still like a little weary sometimes because these guys and girls do not play. Now you go to different agencies, guys' shirts untucked, shoes are unshod, uniforms got stains on it.
Yeah.
You're a joke, bro. You are a joke. You can't get a fresh shirt or spend a couple of bucks, get a new pair of pants. Like, remember the pants that would get faded and stuff?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And you're walking around like,
Hulk pants.
oh, Jesus.
The purple,
oh, my God.
face.
Yeah. like spend $50. Like, don't be like, I'm not saying buy 5 pairs. Get one good pair of pants and boots. Look sharp. Take pride in your appearance. Take pride in your occupation, as you should. And some people don't do that, which is very unfortunate.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll never understand that.
Now, you did patrol for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
I feel like patrol is frowned upon.
You know what? It is, and I don't know why. And there's nothing wrong with staying on patrol. Some guys love it. Some guys hate it. You know, some guys do patrol for 10 seconds and they get off patrol. I could see after a while how monotonous it can get, the same hustle and bustle, the same nonsense of constantly chasing the radio, working, grinding out. You know, these busy Brooklyn North commands, as you know, it's nonstop. From the moment you get in that car, you're rolling the whole tour. It's nonstop. And that's how guys and girls get burnt out.
Yeah.
But I love patrol because that's what I knew. That's what I wanted to do at the time. And it was great. I had no regrets being on patrol. And some guys on patrol their whole career, which is nothing wrong. We had a guy joining Precinct, which is the 9-0. Shout out to Hondo, by the way. Guy was on patrol for over 30 years.
30 years.
30 years on patrol. This guy was a legend. The reason why, like, we could have a heavy job, like a robbery or a burglary in the 9-4. 9-0 Eddie's coming over to help us. This guy was a legend. This guy was like, oh my God, like, if you knew this man, he loved what he did. And this guy is just like, I wish him a lot. I heard he retired recently. But the guy was just a go-getter. And I couldn't believe it. 30 years on patrol in the city is not 30 years in Suffolk or Nassau. It's a whole, it's tough.
That's tough.
And some guys stick and they love it. There's nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So 7-8 years on patrol.
7-8 years on patrol. Then I was getting married in 2013. So in 2012, I was making lots of arrests. I was making arrests just for the money, not because I wanted to be a superstar. And my CO at the time had offered me anti-crime. And I'm like, now at the same time, I'm being offered anti-crime. And my fiance is like, get off that 4 to 12 patrol because she's having dinner by herself.
Yep.
We're never seeing each other unless my days off. My days off, I'm doing counterterrorism overtime. So it was very stressful. That tour is for a single man, or, you know, if you have a married wife watches the kids during the day, you go to work and vice versa. So you have childcare coverage. But it was taking a strain on my relationship. So the tour was 9:30 to 6 o'clock at night. So 9:30 in the morning to 6 p.m.
Oh, that's a good tour.
It's a great tour. Yeah. Steady Friday and Saturday off. I'm off every Friday and Saturday. It was Sunday fun days. We rarely went out on Sundays. Worked with a bunch of good guys on the crime team. And I said to the captain, I go, listen, if I don't like it, can I go back? He said, you have my word. But I liked crime. The reason why I like crime, that normal life. I was home for dinner at 7 o'clock. I didn't know what that was like. I didn't know that was like to be home sitting down, having dinner with my family at 7:30 at night. I'm like, I can get used to this. This is pretty dope.
Yeah.
The work itself wasn't really for me jumping out on guys like
yeah, that didn't bring you back to conditions?
Conditions, we really didn't do that. Like jump out on guys. I worked with this one guy, Bobby. Shout out to Bobby, by the way. He had an eye for things. This guy was a legend. I mean, this guy was a great cop. He like, what do we got? What do we got? And he would just see things that I would never see. He just has, you have these guys that have this act for that. I'll admit I never had it. But I flipped the car around. Oh, what do you got? What do you got? Like, yeah, stuff like that.
Was he from New York City?
Yeah, he's from Rockaway, I believe.
From Rockaway. That's where I'm from originally.
Yeah, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He retired recently a couple of years ago as well. Everyone respected him. He's one of our delegates eventually. And a lot of guys looked up to him and stuff. But the jumping out on the guys, like, all right, what do you got? Blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. Like, get nothing, we're out. That wasn't for me. Or driving around the projects. Not that I was scared, just wasn't for me. The hours were for me.
Yeah.
Because
you made it work for you.
I made it work. Of course, that was my family is number one. The job is number two. The job, you know, I remember this old timer told me this one saying is never love the job. The job's a whore. The job will never love you back. And I'm like, what? And that stuck with me forever. And I've learned not to love the job. My family, your family comes first. The people at home that love you, they come first. So I did that work to be with my family more, to see my parents, my brother, my friends, my family, my fiance at the time, now my wife, for those hours, because those hours were in gold. You couldn't put a value on that. You know, being at home, you know, imagine if I had children, I didn't have kids at the time, but I would never see my children, you know, or guys that work, you work late, you never see your family. So for the work itself, the hours were fantastic. So I stuck with it for a couple of years and no regrets.
Okay.
It was good.
The 9-4 is what area of Brooklyn?
So 9-4 covers Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So we go all the way from Ash and Manhattan Avenue, which is by the water, which it borders the 108 precinct, goes all the way up to Metropolitan, from Metropolitan down by Commercial, all the way up down by River Street. So I believe the size, it's like maybe 1.2 or 1.3 square miles. Okay. Not that big of a command. All right. I know the 7.5 is 5 square miles. That's a big precinct.
That's huge.
That's a huge command. A lot of commercial. Now, over the years, they built up a lot of residential down by Kent Street, by the water. It's completely changed over time. I mean, as anything does. You know, it was like a lot of rundown, like down Bedford Avenue. The stores weren't really up. You know, now you have an Apple store over there. You have all these, you know, yuppies moving in, the building, and they're charging $5,000 a month for like, you know, like size of this studio. It's like, what? Oh, but I have a good view. I'm like, bro, what? Like, what are you doing over here? And it's just like, if I'd known back then what I know now, I mean, that investment back then would have been like, oh, you would have been a multimillionaire right now.
Was it a busy command?
During the summer, it got busy. When I say by that, like I saw a busy summer night on a 4 to 12, 10, 11 jobs. Nothing like compared to the 7.3, 7.5, 7.9. You guys are answering 25 calls. You know, really busy nights, 15, 16 radio runs per car. But the problem is that we really didn't have the manpower at times. So if you put out minimal patrol, 4 cars, okay, one's doing a transport, one goes to a detail. Now you're down to 2 cars. It's not safe.
Yeah.
I remember there were a couple of times it was just me and, you know, my partner. And there was another car roll covering the entire command. So if we're on a heavy call, if we're on a burglary in progress, and it's, you know, 4 cops, because we mind you have 2 cars, but now a robbery comes over, who's answering that robbery call? So the staffing in the NYPD is a huge problem, and they need to address that because someone's going to get hurt. God forbid, even worse.
Well, that's why they're scooping up whatever they can at this point.
If you have a heartbeat, oh, congratulations, kid, you're hired. Like, you know, name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Like, it's they can't fill those seats. They can't fill it. You know how they fill it? Make them the highest paying police department in the country, raise the standards, and you'll have guys line up the door. You will have, you make more than Suffolk County after X amount of years, you made more than Nassau County. You will have guys and girls out the door, raise back the standards, bring back the college requirement, bring back the physical fitness, and you'll still fill those. I guarantee you, they'll still fill those seats.
Yeah.
At that, the manpower needs to be taken care of.
They need to compete with these other departments.
100%, because the pay difference, like as you know, the gap is out of control. It's like, oh, you know, you work in the county, you're making 200, 225 a year, maybe more. Not bad for answering Audible. And I'm happy because you can't put a price on a human life.
Yeah.
I believe every police officer, no matter what agency he or she works for, needs to be compensated for their job and their duties that they do. Especially the New York City Police Department, the amount of calls that we handled, you know, the level of violence. Because now, you know, that whole crime is down nonsense. That's you and I. Crime is not down, ladies and gentlemen. Because think about it. If a woman is sexually assaulted, we'll use, for example, God forbid, not all victims come forward. And it's only a crime if you report it.
That's right.
So the crime still occurred. A woman was sexually assaulted, but she's too embarrassed to report it. It's still a crime, right?
That's right.
But she's not reporting it.
Right.
So it's not recorded. So the whole crime is down nonsense. That's total. It's BS.
That's true. What about how they adjust grand larcenies?
I could tell you stories. I'll tell you straight up. That one CO, the commanding officer I was telling you about, how if you didn't write numbers, right?
Yep.
Oh, I got a burglary. Oh no, it's not. It's a petty larceny. And he went through every complaint report with a fine tooth comb, ordered lieutenants and sergeants to reclassify these complaint reports. And I could talk about this now because this is over 20 years ago. Yeah. And this guy got away with it. This guy got away with it for a very long time. So that whole bullshit, because it's bullshit that was taken care of. You're committing perjury. You're whatever crime that is. It's a robbery. Oh no, it's not. Or we went to a grand larceny. Well, what's the value? When did you buy it? That's not our job to determine the value of a watch. That's not I didn't have any training. Do you have training in that?
No.
I didn't have training at that at the academy. You bought the watch when? How much did you pay for it? Oh, it's a year old.
Depreciates.
It depreciates, but who's to say it depreciates only $10? Who's to say it depreciates $1,500 to bring it under that $1,000 mark? So now it's not a grand larceny. It's a petty larceny.
Did you know of anybody that ever got in trouble for the way that they classified something?
I don't personally know of anyone who's
gotten screamed at.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Sometimes the desk would kick back the report. Like that's not a. But now, not to blame the sergeant. It's not the sergeant's fault. Of course, it's the captain leaning on the lieutenant, who's leaning on the sergeant. Make sure you keep these numbers down. And as you know, if you don't do it, you're gonna get your chops broken. You're gonna get your balls broken, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you put the report in the basket at the desk, and they would kick it back to you, or they would. And I'm like, you gotta freaking be kidding me right now.
Yeah.
It's a robbery. It is what it is. And somehow this captain, he would find ways to like have the report reworded or whatever taken out. Oh, what's the value of this? So now, crime's down. No, it's not. You're just reclassifying paperwork, you asshole. Like it's like and
it goes back to telling the truth, right?
Yeah.
I know cops that have told the truth.
Yeah.
And then they get ripped by bosses, maybe put on a foot post.
Because you told the truth.
Yeah. Or retaliated against.
Retaliation.
Because of how they classified something.
Yeah, retaliation is real. It really.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
And if you show any type of resistance, they're gonna keep hammering you.
Yeah.
So what do you?
Bullies.
So what happened to me? So when I was in that conditions unit, my partner that I was working with, I'm not gonna mention his name. I would be out on vacation or I'd be out sick. He was doubling my activity. Okay, now I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. So after like 2 or 3 months of that happening, I got put on a foot post by myself by the projects from one end of the block for 2 weeks. One end of the block for 2. And, guys came by with coffee or food, and he took care of me. And I appreciate that very much. But since my activity didn't match his, okay, I was punished. It's a punishment. Middle of March, it's cold, it's raining, right? Standing out there, counting the bricks of the building for 2 weeks. And you and I both know I was checked up on by the lieutenant, by the ICO.
How many scratches? How many?
Yeah. Let me get a scratch. Let me sign your book. And okay, sir. I always put my hat was give him a salute. I played the game. And I played the game very well. Okay.
And how much time did you have on at that point?
At that point, 4 years, maybe 4 years. I was still new. I was still pretty fresh to the job. But I didn't show any type of resistance or anything, because if you do, like I said, they're going to just, all right, no problem. Just keep hammering you. So I put on that smile. All right, how are you, sir? Blah, blah, blah. Get a scratch. All right. And as he pulled off, I'm under my breath. I'm like, you SOB. Like, yeah.
I love it. So many people are afraid to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right.
I'm retired. The checks still come in every month. Yeah. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it straight up. Yep. I'm not going to sugarcoat things, because information like this needs to get out there. It needs to be spoken about.
The thing that kills me is the people that know that this goes on. Then when it comes out into the light, they act like the person that's speaking about it is a hairbag or do nothing.
Yeah. Now,
how can you ignore that?
You can't. I remember years ago, there was an officer, his name was Schoolcraft. I believe he worked in the 8-3 or the 8-1, and he brought a lot of this to light. And Chief Marino, Mike Marino, sent him to the hospital and EDP'd him because
I've heard this.
You remember that?
Well,
Yes.
We might be talking. It's happened often.
Okay, so what happened? From what I understand, I don't want to say any misinformation.
Yeah.
From my understanding, they sent him for psych evaluation. I don't know for how long. They jammed him up and everything and blah, 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 because he brought this to light about the reclassification of the complaint reports. This guy's a multimillionaire now. They put him through the ringer when they shouldn't have. They took his gun and shield when they shouldn't have. Hired his attorney, and rightfully so, and F you pay me. Who the hell are you to put me in a psych ward because I'm talking about the truth? I'm telling you what really happened because this guy wanted the numbers down borough-wide. Get the hell out of here. You were out of your goddamn mind. And this guy's and he deserves every penny this guy got.
Good for him.
Good for him is right. Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him is right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I really want to get into is the incident.
The shooting.
The shooting.
I know. Okay, so what do you want to start? Because I must have told this story millions of times, and every time I talk about it, it just gets better. It just like replays in my head.
Okay.
Now, no, go ahead.
We're gonna take a break for our sponsor.
Sure. Who's our sponsor today, by the way? Tell the folks who's our sponsor today.
Our sponsor is I'm gonna.
You're gonna tell them, okay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have it. Also needs a bathroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to take a break so that I could insert my my sponsor plug. Keys for Heroes is the name of the sponsor.
I don't want to toot our own horns right now, but I feel like
it's flowing.
It's flowing. I love every. I love every. How do
you like the questions?
I love it. Did you just write it down like mentally? You knew like so for example, if I was gonna do a public speaking about something, I'll practice maybe. I never did it yet. But if I was my friend's best man, I knew what I was gonna say. I would practice. Mm-hmm. Is that like you just had the questions made up or? No. I love it. Just having a conversation. I love it. I love every second of it. It's just a conversation. I love it. It's cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. No, I'm good. Yeah, okay. I'm good. I'm gonna ask you, how old are your kids?
12, 8, 3.
3, yeah. So my oldest just turned 6. My little one's 4.5, and I'm picking up my little one from school last week. And she's like, "Oh, can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" Yeah, some little boy in her class didn't let her walk to the back, so your daughter thought it'd be a fantastic idea to grab a pair of scissors and try cutting this kid's hair off. I'm like, what? I'm like thinking like, well, why wasn't she being supervised? But okay. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, good girl. Like, don't take no shit, girl. Good for you. And their personalities are polar opposite. My oldest is very sensitive. My little one's like, yeah, go fuck. And she's like, yeah.
They go to Massapequa schools?
Yeah. So my oldest goes to Birch Lane, so she's in first, and then my little one goes to St. Rose Catholic school. Almost 800 a month. School. That is insane. Like the pricing is just out of control. It's just like I was just texting my old partner. I'm like, yeah, I made sure I shouted you out, pal. I got you.
Yeah, let's do it. You're doing great, by the way.
Oh yeah,
You're freaking crushing it.
You tell me. You're the man. I'm a guest over here. I think it was just like when Ian. So when I met him, hey, what's up, blah blah blah. Nice to meet you. And him and I put off the line. We started flowing, and we started flowing, and just got the crew. Yeah, 2 guys there. He's like this. You guys are in it. Just start like let's start rolling. And it was like, oh, cool, look out.
Yeah,
it was great. I love it. Like I love this. Like I'm so happy I was able to hook up with you, and because I love talking about this stuff because this information needs to be put out to the public,
right,
to the public eye.
And with me being on the job, I'm able to pull out stuff that maybe Ian wasn't. He
no, yeah.
But I like it because I can talk freely and pull these things out that you can speak freely about as well.
Yeah, it's
just a little closer.
Yep, yeah. A little closer.
Yeah, it's usually they say usually like a fist away, but but
Good.
A little further away. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's perfect. Good. All right.
So yeah, let's you gonna talk about that guy that you interviewed also? Yeah, you met first day on the job with my shooting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So, the incident.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's get into
it.
Crazy part is Malcolm Marcel. He's our sponsor. Keys for Heroes.
Shout out to Malcolm. Good job, my man.
Yes. Yeah. Keys for Heroes is our sponsor. He is a mortgage guy, mortgage broker, the best in the game, especially for law enforcement. But we had our interview with Malcolm, and it turns out that he worked in the 9-4 as well.
Yeah.
His first day in full uniform out of the academy
was my incident.
Was your incident.
Now,
and we had no idea. He said,
how'd you piece that together? Like, how did you put 2 and 2? Because we talked, and then I'm assuming you interviewed him after we spoke.
Yes.
Because I sent you the interview with Ian. And then did you start to piece it together? Like, what happened?
So as he's saying what happened, he gets to a point where he explains everything. And then he says, check out the newspaper article. Search it up. That's the same thing you said to me.
Oh, so then it clicked.
You said the same thing to me. So I was like, hold up. You said the same exact words as him, except you sent it to me via DM.
Yeah.
He says it in person. I'm like, hold
on a second.
The same words, just look up the news article.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hold up. Okay. You said 9-4 Greenpoint. I believe, and for some reason I couldn't think of your name at the time.
Yep.
So excuse me for that. But I was like, what's his name? Steve. I believe Steve. And I was like, what did he look like?
Yeah.
And
was he like bald, handsome, like 5 deep blue eyes? Did he describe me like that? You're like, I know the guy. Yeah.
He was like, I was like, was he a white guy?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I was like, was he bald?
Yeah.
He was like, I can't really remember, but it was him and a female officer.
Yes. Yeah. Which I never worked with her. That's the first radio call we ever had together. I never worked with her that day, ever.
Yes.
Before that day. Yeah.
So I was like, once we get done with this interview, I'm going to look it up.
And it was, now it's confirmed. Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
And it was you.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I can't believe it. What was, like, when you put 2 and 2 together, was he there? Like, was he still here? Like, did you figure it out when he was here, when he was talking to you?
Yes, but for some reason, like I said, I couldn't remember your name at the time. It kind of put me on the spot.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I think this might be the same incident.
Yeah.
He hid behind a tree as a rookie because he was told to take cover by the FTO that he was working with.
Sure, of course.
And then when he came from cover, that's when he saw the suspect.
Yeah.
And he saw you. But I'll let you get into the story. I'll let you tell your side. He went into great detail telling his side of it. And I think it's so awesome that we can get 2 different perspectives.
And I can't wait to see that interview with him because I would love to see someone else's perspective that was there, that wasn't involved.
And he went he went very much so into detail.
So I had to cover patrol that day. It was July 17th, 2016 on a day tour. Okay. So I remember walking into the precinct Sunday morning.
Wait, so you were auto crime?
I was
Not auto crime. You were anti-crime.
I got kicked out of crime, and we'll get into that I'll tell you why I got kicked out of crime. So on a side note, we got a new special ops lieutenant. Okay. At the time, my mother-in-law, may she rest in peace, she was in hospice in Arizona. So I'm driving this new lieutenant around. He's like, "Are you looking today? Are you looking for an arrest?" And I said straight up, no. Not because I was already on the sheet. Because my mother-in-law is about to pass away. I'm going to have to fly to Arizona. At the time, I was a 36-year-old man. I don't need to explain myself to you. I'm not telling you my personal details. And he took that very offensively. Okay. So my mother-in-law had passed. I had flew to Arizona.
You just said straight up no.
I'm like, no, I'm not looking today. But I wasn't disrespectful. I'm like, no, I'm not looking today. Go to Arizona, go to the funeral. I come back. My sergeant pulls me aside. He's like, yeah, we're downsizing the crime team. It's not coming for me. And he explains X, Y, and Z to me. I'm like, you M or F'er. And he actually did me a huge favor by kicking me out of crime, because I went from crime, I went to the summons unit. Okay. I went to the highway unit, and it was probably one of the best things I ever did. I worked by myself, made my own hours. Yeah, you're right. Speeding summonses, so be it, whatever it was, the case may be.
I did that for a bit.
Okay. But the perks that come with it override the workload, if you will. And I did that for about a year and a half. Now, they had suspended, so let me wrap this all, put the pieces all together for you. They had suspended all solo patrols because I believe something happened in Texas. I don't recall what happened, but they suspended solo patrols. So
I remember that.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So that is when I had to cover patrol for a week. So I was notified to cover patrol for a week. So July 17th, 2016, I'm walking into the 9-4 with my morning coffee. Morning, boss. Boss is like, oh, you want to do the TS today? Telephone switchboard. No. A couple of reasons. One, it's nice out. Two, I hate the TS. You get the phone calls, the nonsense that comes in is astronomical. Frustrating, yeah. And plus, they did patrol for a million years. So let me go out. I'm standing in roll call. To give our sector, we give the car number we're in, and our dispatcher, Central, is giving us 4 Adam Day tour. You're on there? I'm like, go ahead. We have an emotionally disturbed person at whatever, 389 Morgan. All right, 10-4. Now, at this point, I'm kind of like a little pissed off because I want to get my breakfast. It's Sunday morning. You want to get your coffee. You know what I'm saying? You know the deal.
The reason why I'm laughing is because
you get it.
Not only that, but the story that he tells
something
in regards to the breakfast.
Yeah.
And a Sunday.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, all right. So now I'm taking the midnight car over. So now, for those who don't know, every tour you have to toss the car. You have to check the back seat. If there's any contraband, if there's anything in there. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Now our dispatcher gives us a man with a firearm, male Hispanic, I believe, red hat, white T-shirt. I'm like, all right, let me start flying over it. So now I'm driving, and we're flying to the call. And as we're going to the man with the firearm, comes over to 30, which is a robbery. A 30 at gunpoint, numerous calls. And when Centrals has numerous calls, that means numerous people call 911. This is real.
It's legit.
This is legit. This sounds real. So this feels like yesterday to me. So as I'm driving, I pull into the parking lot. Mind you, 3 911 calls, 3 locations. Okay. So I happen to pull into the parking lot where the perp is about 100 feet out from me. And I exit the vehicle, the driver's side. And as I'm exiting, he's reaching into his waistband. And I'm out of the car 1.5 to 2 seconds. And I'm processing everything that's going on. And I can see he's reaching for his gun, and I'm taking my gun out. And I screamed, don't do it. Now, he either said, die, pig, or whatever he yelled at us. Whatever he screamed at, he yelled something. So, mind you, everything is so surreal at this point. Like, this is really happening. And he got 1 round off towards us before I could put the 13 over the radio. And it was on like Donkey Kong. Now, there were 2 parked cars there. Both vehicles were struck with he had a 40 caliber. So if those cars weren't there, my knee could have been blown out. My leg, my artery could have been hit. I could have bled to death. We didn't have any tourniquets back then.
Nope.
So thank God the vehicles were there. So the girl I was with, she had split to the right. I had split to the left.
Great tactics.
Yep. She fired twice, and she's on the radio. I'm on the radio. And him and I hate to say it, we banged it out. And we banged it out good. And now to this day, I don't know why I was doing this. I'm a lefty. So I was firing with my left hand. as I'm transmitting. I'm holding my radio. I was scared. I was scared that if I would have holstered my radio, after I put the 13 over the radio, that I couldn't have holstered it because, you know, you're in the middle of a gun battle. I didn't want to drop my radio. So the whole time I'm still holding it. And I was lucky and I fired 13 times. He's down. He's hit. Okay. Now he goes for a second fire, which he didn't have. He simulated his second firearm. He goes into his waistband. And I don't know how I thought of it, but I keyed my radio. I'm like, show me your effing hands. I don't know, because, the cops didn't order him to. No, I keyed the radio. He didn't. I let 2 more go. 1 missed, and I adjusted instantly, and 1 hit him in his chest. So when he was hitting his chest, he went like this to check himself, and now his hands have blood on it. So let's go back up in the story. So there were 3, at this point, the guys are coming, but there were 3 911 calls. So now the perp is down. I'm not at Slylock yet. Okay. I have 1 left in the chamber. I didn't realize I had fired so many times, but the guys are running at me. Now I'm screaming at them. You're in my line of fire. You're in my line of fire. And I'm like, get out. My gun's pointed. Get out of it. So they're moving off to the side. And I walk up to the perp. He's still conscious. And I holster up. I take out my cuffs. I flip him around. I cuff him up. Now I walk off the set and I start to cry a little bit. I'm like, what just happened? What the F just happened? Now the crime sergeant pulls up, George, and I'm like, bro, am I hit? Am I effing hit right now? Because you're so pumped up. You're so revved up. And he's like, Steve, turn around. He's like, no, you're not hit. Okay. So ambulance gets there. My blood pressure was 186 over 110. I'll never forget those numbers. They're like, you're about to stroke. No, I'm good. Like, you go to the Elmhurst, you're about to stroke. Now, the morning of our shooting is when those 5 officers from Baton Rouge were ambushed. So in Louisiana, these 5 cops were shot. So the magnitude of their story overrid ours. We were maybe a 20-second blip on the news that night. And they didn't release our ID card photos. Everything was so straightforward. The guy had pistol whipped an old man, stole his dog. It almost sounded like a sergeant test question. I mean, the amount of events that this guy did that led up to the shooting, it was unreal. And, you know, the whole, so I went to the hospital. At this point, it's breaking news. Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 11. My delegate is like, listen, you have to call your wife. And I'm like, now, if I call you, I'm like, oh, Lenny, what's up? I'll text you. I'll hit you up. Like, yo, give me a quick shout. I don't leave a voicemail. I call my wife, Michelle, and I explain to her, listen, I leave a message. I'm like, listen, I'm okay. This is what had occurred. Now, this is Sunday morning. So she's getting up. She goes to the bathroom. She's like, why did Steve leave me a voicemail? I remember sitting in the hospital, actually embarrassed. Of course, the day prior, I was at the beach. I'm like sunburned and stuff, like sitting there, like in the hospital. She calls me back hysterically crying. I'm like, I'm not hit. And I was at the hospital and she's like, now Highway was waiting at the hospital. And my dad goes, look, we could get your wife, but by the time Highway to pick her up and bring her back, you'll be discharged. We'll do it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to like make things more difficult. Now that day of my shooting, my parents were out east. My family, my aunt and uncle have a house in Southampton. I'm like, you got to call my mother and father. So my wife calls my parents and, you know, she opened up with, you know, if she's calling my dad at 9:30 on a Sunday morning. She's not calling to say hi. Steve was involved in the shooting. Like the phone, my dad drops the phone. My mom picks up the phone. What's wrong with Steve? What happened? No, he's okay. He's okay. I personally would have opened up with, listen, he's okay, but this is what had occurred.
Sure.
Yeah. So now we go back to the precinct. You know, Force and FID gets there. They know it's a good shoot. And I'm not forget, the sergeant comes up to me. He's like, I hate to do this to you, but can you please take this breathalyzer? I go, absolutely. You know, my delegate was like, you're going to pass this, right? I go, bro, it's 10 o'clock on a Sunday. No, I had 3 JMOs before coming in.
Yeah.
Like,
breathalyzer.
You ever see the 4-year-old version? Okay. You know, I blow into. So I take the breathalyzer. I'll never forget this. So Chief, who's the chief's name? Oh my God. That got caught up with the lieutenant at One Police Plaza. Madry. He goes, Padullo, are you former military? I go, no, sir. We're in the detective squad when this is going on. He goes, your downstairs must be the size of watermelons. Thanks, Chief. Like, because he saw the video. He's like, what do you say to that? I'm like, oh, thank you, sir. And the other guys, they were cracking up. So from start to finish, I had actually left the precinct around 4:30 in the afternoon after we did all the paperwork. FID came down. I had to put my uniform back on. And I'm like, why am I putting my uniform back on? And they put against the wall this brown piece of paper, and they take your front and both your sides. And the reason for that is because the family could say, oh, how do you know he was the police? How do you know? And now I get it. He was in uniform. Because if you were in plain clothes, a defense attorney would say, well, how did they know that was the police, not a perpetrator shooting at them? Okay, so now I get it. Treated very well. Everyone was like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. No big deal. And now, as we know, I had to go sick. Okay. So I remember calling the sick desk, explain my situation. All right, come in at 8:00. Come in at 8:00 in the morning on Monday. And I'm like, listen, I need a day to catch my breath. That's not how this works. I'm like, listen, then you put a boss on the phone and you blah, blah, blah. And then okay, come in Tuesday.
This is the next day.
It was Sunday night. I had called in sick.
Yeah.
From Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I need like a breather. Like, you go through a traumatic event. So I went down on Tuesday to, the medical district, and it's standard procedure that you have to see the department psychologist. Okay. And, she brings me in and she's like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm all right. I'm like, listen, I feel bad that I took a human life because he wound up bleeding out at the hospital.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, I only did what I was trained to do. I was protecting myself. I was protecting my partner, and I have a family to go home to. And she's like, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. And it was just standard procedure to see a psychologist. Now, through the story, if you fast forward to 3 years ago, and I'm so happy I'm able to speak about this, I have developed really bad PTSD. And I'll tell you why. So when you're involved in a shooting, they do a 3D reenactment. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And I get back off from line of duty. I was out about 7 months from line of duty. And my captain at the time, oh, come in, bring it. And he tells me that one of the rounds was 18 inches from, quote, hitting me in the head, end quote.
18 inches?
18 inches, which is one of the bullets was going to blow my head off. Other than our vest, if that round would have went, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. And so 3 years ago, now let me take a step back. My shooting, still to this day, it's like, picture a song you hate, right? It plays in your head over and over and over and over. Now, when there were, rest in peace, Sergeant Paul Tizzullo or Peter Fugazi or any of these other officers that had given their life in the line of duty,
100%.
I would always say to myself, why them? Why not me? Why not me?
Wow.
I would feel very guilty of Brian Moore. He was rest in peace, Brian Moore. And he was such a young kid. He was working at plainclothes anti-crime. And I would always say to myself, that should have been me, that why him? And, my wife is saying, well, it wasn't your time. And I'm like, I understand, but that answer is not good enough for me. Like, why? And I developed really bad PTSD. And I found myself, yelling at my children over nonsense. At night, I'd find myself crying, randomly crying, just asking God to help me. Just, please, God, I need to get myself better. How do I do this? And it's like the recovering alcoholic dating a bartender. Oh, I'm good. And he's out drinking at night. Or I'm okay. I'm not okay. I wasn't okay. And finally, one morning I woke up and I'm crying. And I look at my wife and I'm like, I need to get myself better. I need to get myself help. And the point that I'm trying to make, anyone watching this, is that mental health is very important to myself. It should be very important to anybody, human being on this earth. And it should be spoken about more often. And it's not. It's a stigma like, oh, you're a man. You're going through things. Why don't you suppress it? Why don't you suck it up and push that stuff down? And that stress will eat you alive. That anxiety will kill you. Stress is a silent killer, as we know. And, I tell my story. I've told my story to so many. I got myself better. And I put myself into therapy. I was way low. And now I'm 10,000% better because I took the proper steps. Initially, I was very embarrassed too. I was very, very embarrassed in the sense I'm like, I'm this big bad cop and retired, and we don't do things like this. And I'm like, no, that's not the proper attitude to have. If you have cancer, if God asks, you're not going to take chemo. You have a heart condition. You're not going to take your heart medicine. You want to get yourself better. but your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And I found myself, not wanting to see my family, not wanting to see my friends. And it was a red flag. I'm a very happy go lucky guy. I'm a very personable guy. I love people. I love going out. I love speaking. It's just who I am. And I found myself not doing that. I found myself secluding myself from all that. And if I didn't get myself better, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now. And anyone listening, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to go through different things. We all go through stresses of life, marriage, your work, finances, anything that could bring down your mental health. Don't think you're the only person on this earth that's going through something. Because like right now, when I'm currently working for a private security firm, another active police officer came up to me, won't mention his name, and he's like, "Steve, I started therapy." And I'm like, "Let me give you a hug, my man. I'm so proud of you." But he was so eager to tell me that he went into therapy and he's so proud. I'm like, "I'm proud of you, bro. Like, good for you, dude. Like, don't be embarrassed." Like, it's such a stigma. Like, no, men and women need to get themselves better. And it's so common now. Remember, like back in the day, "Oh, you're in therapy. Oh, this guy's weird." No, and shame on you. You're a coward for calling that man weak, because that man's trying to get himself better. Why would he not want to get up for his family and friends? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's the best thing I could ever have done. And I'm still to this day, I go once a week in therapy. It's something that it helps. It helps tremendously. As a married man as yourself, I'm sure you and your wife have normal arguments, or the kids, or whatever stresses you're going through personally. But it's good to speak to somebody that doesn't judge you, or it's good to talk about your problems or what's ever on your mind. Or because if you bottle that, oh, dude, that's horrible. That is just one of the worst. Oh, people turn to alcohol or turn to narcotics, even worse. Now you're in this dark rabbit hole and you're falling down. It's probably one of the worst things you could do to yourself is to get into that rhythm. And it's like, you're going to be out of control. And it's like, I did not want to go down that route. And thank God I was strong enough as a man to say, there's a problem. It needs to be addressed. And thank God I did. I reached for help. I called it 13 again, if you will. I'm happy I did. And it's one of the best things I ever did for myself.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a true story.
How many years did you have at that point?
So I'm sorry, what was your question?
How much time did you have on?
So no, I was retired. At this point, I was retired.
No,
So,
when you got into the shooting.
so I had 12 years of
12
service,
years.
12 years on the job at that time. And I didn't ever question myself. I never questioned my actions. I knew it was a good shoot. I mean, we were shot. I mean, they had 9 security cameras. They had witnesses. You literally had a retired. So where the shooting had occurred, behind me, there was a fence. There were residential houses. You literally had a retired police officer on the phone at 911. Okay. The guy pistol whipped an old man. Okay, the cops are pulling up as he's on the phone to 911. Okay, he's shooting at the cops. Okay, the cops are shooting back. Okay, the perp's down. Okay, you didn't, like, you had everything. Everything was so straightforward and so cookie cutter that they could not, well, maybe he could have no, you like how politicians are, how they try and twist the story around. It was so straightforward. It was good. It was.
What do you think helped you in that situation as far as things you may have done in the past to prepare?
Training. Okay. So it's like anything else, like a professional athlete, for example, off-season baseball, they keep the conditioning up, or football, whatever, hockey, whatever sport, they're always training. So I was part of I was assigned to counterterrorism as well. And we had the tactical training with the shooting and stuff. But me personally, that whole going to the range twice a year back now, I think it's once a year. Yeah, I would always practice and always train and
Wow.
train and train.
Wow.
Not because I was a buff, and not because I don't love guns. I have 4 firearms, but I know guys that have 400. Whatever, that's not my cup of tea, but that's their constitutional right. But I would always practice and practice because I never knew when I needed it. And guess what? I needed it that day.
Wow.
I needed it that morning, and all those thousands of rounds I had practiced with, my training kicked in. And it kicked in 1, 2, and 3. Boom. No end. No way to describe it. Yeah.
What about your partner that day?
So like I said, I never worked to her a day in my life. She had fired twice. And then she was on the radio, and the way the guys describe it, they thought I was dead when they pulled up, where she was screaming on the radio. It's one of the guys like, "I thought you were hit and were shot." And I never really listened to her, on the radio, the transmission. of that. But yeah, that's what happened. That's what occurred.
How much time did she have on at that time?
She was a lot less senior on the job. I think she had maybe 4 or 5 years on the job at the
Wow.
time. Yeah, she was still at that. My opinion, you're considered a rookie, until you hit top pay ish. Like guys like, oh, a 3-year veteran. No, you're not a 3-year veteran. You're a 3-year rookie. You're not. Come on, dude. Let's get real.
Yeah.
But anyway, she had about 4 or 5 years on, I believe, at the time. Yeah.
Now, you two shared a moment
Mhm.
that the average person doesn't experience.
Yeah.
Do you still speak to her at all?
I don't speak to her often. I speak to her every now and then.
Yeah.
She had gotten her detective shield. She stayed at the borough, I believe. I had spoken to her maybe about a year ago. We follow each other on social media. But going back to speaking, I'll never forget this. One of the guys I used to work with, he says to me, "Hey, when you retire one day, how many guys you think you'll still talk to?" I'm like, under a handful. It's true. It's under a hand. And it's not because you don't like one another. It's because life goes on. You have family now. You're working some other where, and time goes. But I hadn't spoken to her over a year, but we follow each other on social media, and I wish her nothing but the best. Yeah, she's a good person.
Man, I can only imagine. How about your nightmares? How about
Truth be
getting to
told,
sleep?
that was really unaffected. I never had any nightmares. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God that never happened to me.
Yeah.
But after the shooting, it was just like it would always replay in my head over and over and over. And I wish I could turn that off,
Yeah.
but you can't. It's impossible. And I told my therapist that actually, no, it's considered a traumatic event. And it's just like something that would always replay in my head no matter what. And it's something you can't turn off. Over time, it gets better. Like anything else, time heals all wounds.
Sure.
Okay. But initially, it was really bad. It was just like over and over and over. And it's like, what like, you can't do anything about it. I chose not to turn to alcohol to make myself feel better. I chose not to do stupid things to make myself feel better. I took the right route to get myself better through therapy. It's one of the best things ever.
And you said you didn't start therapy until you retired?
Yeah. So I don't know why. I can't explain why, but the PTSD didn't sit in initially. It sat in years after. And I don't know why to this day, but that's when it started to sit in. And it's just like, why now? Like, why now? Like, why ever, if you will? And it just sort of happened, to be honest with you.
Do you think that with you being retired, it allowed you to kind of reset and not have your mind spinning over and over again due to the job?
Yeah.
And you get to actually process it.
Yeah, it did. When I retired in July of 2019, and then my daughter was born in September of 19. Okay. So I had that whole summer. My wife at the time was a high risk pregnancy, but we had to go to the doctor all the time. But once my daughter was born, she was born a month early in the NICU. I was focused on being a father, and it took my mind off a lot of things. Because my daughter was my number one now. That was my concentration. That was my focus in life, and that was my purpose in life. And like I said earlier in the interview, I truly believe God has a plan for everybody. And, because if you look, take a step back in the story. So the day of my shooting, if you look at the roll call, there was 2 other officers in that sector that the sergeant had scratched out, and had put me and this other officer in there. And I always said that we were there for a reason. God put me there for a reason because of those 2 other cops, which I don't know who the names were. Maybe they'd have 2 dead officers now. Maybe something else would have occurred, or they would have been shot, or whatever the case might have been. But I know the saying goes, God only gives you what you can handle. And he knew her and I could handle it that morning and that afternoon. But now I see that the day of my shooting, my friend Jimmy at the time goes, "Your shooting is probably one of the best things that ever happened to you." I'm like, "Well, how the hell could you say that?" Now I understand. I was able to retire early from my career. I was able to be a stay-at-home father. Okay. And that was God's plan. I truly believe that to this day, that I made it through that morning. Okay. And being a stay-at-home dad, it was a blessing. It was such a blessing to be there for my firstborn daughter every moment of the day, every minute of the day. And if I wasn't able to retire early, so be it. But I don't know how I would handle that stress of being in that patrol car or being wherever at work, knowing I was in a shooting, how many months ago, and that anxiety that would build up because that's something I would want to go through ever again. It is just god awful. And I met someone, I think it was some dinner ESU guy. He's like, yeah, I was involved in 7 shootings. I'm like, 7? I'm like, bro, I was involved in 1. That was 1 too many. You all right, dude? Like, your blood pressure okay? Like, you healthy? You good? I couldn't believe my mouth hit the floor when this guy told me that. Because it's such an experience that I can't even begin to explain to anyone who's watching what it's like to go through that. Because my shooting from start to finish, I believe, was 21 and a half seconds from the time the first round was fired to us, time we returned fire, and the time he was down. So 21-ish and a half from the actual time I was firing my weapon. It felt like an eternity. It felt like I just ran a marathon backwards and forwards because every ounce of energy was sucked out of my body. I was exhausted. Every ounce of I had nothing left in the tank. I had nothing because you're so focused. Because, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. This guy was trying to kill me. I'm going to kill you first. Well, let me rephrase it. I'm going to defend myself. And if I have to take you, I got to take you. Not because I want to, because that's the way I was trained to do. And I did what I had to do to go home to my family. End of the discussion.
Well said.
Yeah, that's it. It's either me or him. It ain't going to be me. And if it's going to be me, you're coming with me. Period.
Now, how did that enable you to retire early?
So there were 22 rounds exchanged from the shooting. 22. So she had fired 5. The girl I was with had fired 2. I had fired 15. Now, the day of the shooting, after I had holstered my firearm, I had backed out my magazine from my weapon. I'm like, what did I fire? 3 or 4? My magazine was empty. And I'm like, oh my. And you know what? So be it. That's fine. If I had went to slide like if I had went empty, I would have reloaded and went right back into it because that's what we're trained to do. Now my ears from the shooting, as I stated, I was out line of duty 7 months, tons of exams. I have severe tinnitus to this day, hearing loss in my left ear.
Wow.
I wear these devices. I'm not wearing them today because of the interview. They override the ringing in my ears. They're made for the hearing aids, but I have white noise that are constantly playing in my ears because the ringing is so loud and so severe. It's like you try going to bed, you put your earbuds in your ear, right? Apple, whatever earbuds you have, and put the volume up. Try going to sleep like that. Tell me how that works out for you. It doesn't.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it's like. So I have these 2 devices that are geared with the white noise and they help me sleep at night because if I take them out, the ringing is like nonstop and it's not surgical. There's no medication I could take. You have to live with it. Like guys who are in the service and they let off like these large rounds, these servicemen that come back and women that come back, severe tinnitus. I'm like, the guys that work in the New York City like subway system, not wearing the proper ear protection. These guys develop really bad disabilities over time. It's just something you can't take away from yourself. You live with it for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Yeah. So
once you came back from being line of duty,
so
7 months.
Yeah. So now I'm medically restricted.
Yeah.
The it's like, where do you want to go? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I want to go to Central Booking, Queen Central Booking, which was such a mistake on my end.
Why were they?
Okay. So I get there. Hey, how you doing? All right. So I'm here, they know my situation. And the admin lieutenant, from day one didn't like me for whatever reason. He just, all right. I'm like, so I was very nice. I'm like, what tour do you want? I'm like, wherever I'm needed. I'm like, well, how's steady Friday and Saturday? He's like, oh yeah, you're gonna do a lieutenant chart. So what that means is I would work 5 days off for 2, 5 days off for 2, 5 days off for 2, 5 days off for 3. So 5-2, 5-2, 5-3. So when you were off Monday, Tuesday, you were off Monday, Tuesday for like 7 or 8 weeks in a row. This guy easily could, knowing my situation, good shooting, good officer, highly decorated, very active guy. I mean, you could run my tax number and find out what I'm about. He could easily have given me steady Fridays and Saturdays off. It would have been no bearing on him. Nah, I'm going to not take care of this guy. I'm going to put him on a rotating chart. And I could have made a phone call. I could have did something to have him spoken to, but I chose not to go that route. And the guy just didn't like me off the bat. He didn't like me off the line for whatever reason. I don't know, whatever I ever did to this guy. For example, I emailed him a question about traffic court. Okay, I remember. Because if you're a midnight officer, right? They don't tour change you. You go after midnight, you go down to traffic court, you make a couple hours of overtime, and you go home, right?
Right.
So what they were doing is they were tour changing me. They were putting me on day tours. So
Just to go to traffic.
Just to go to traffic court. So I emailed this lieutenant, hey, LT, good afternoon. Quick question for you. Why am I going down to traffic court? Because the way it worked, I didn't tell him. I asked him, isn't it the proper protocol that you're a midnight officer, you stay on your midnight, then go to traffic court? Like everyone and their mother does. Okay. No response off the email. Like he just ignored it. Like unbelievable. Like I don't wish harm on anyone because I was raised better than that.
Yeah.
But the hell with that guy. Like, screw you. Yeah. But what did I ever do to you? Like for no reason. Like you're a loser. Like you probably sat in office your whole career. Like get the hell out of here. Yeah.
So you rolled that out until.
So what happened was I was at Central Booking for about a year and a half, and then some chief comes in who wants to reinvent the wheel, and they are not allowing any medically restricted personnel to work at Central Booking. So then I'm transferred to the 112 Detective Squad. Okay. So things got a little hairy because at the time, my wife and I were trying to have children, and I get there, sat in about 2 hours of traffic on a day tour, and the lieutenant of the detective squad was like, oh, you're RDO today. Phone call would have been nice. He's like, yeah, you're steady Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And he's like, what do you mean? Oh, and then he tells me you're working 4 p.m. to 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, no, I'm not. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not working that tour. He's like, no, that's your tour. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I wasn't arrogant about it. But I explained to him, like, listen, my wife and I were driving out children. She works days. I can't work nights. The whole, he could care less. The typical Queens Marines attitude. I'm like, oh, no problem. So straight up, I had reached out to somebody who was very high ranking. I worked with him as a sergeant. He was now a deputy inspector. And for those who don't know, a deputy inspector is one rank level than the captain. And he knew my situation. He knew the shooting was a good shooting. So a week later, I was transferred. I was transferred to Queens South Narcotics. And I get my email on my department phone. And truth be told, I see the last name of the lieutenant I report to. He's my next door neighbor. And what are the odds in Vegas?
Your next door
neighbor. We share the same fence. Frank DiVirgilio. Shout out to Big Frank, by the way.
Still your next door neighbor.
Still my next door neighbor. The nicest guy in the world.
Wow.
So I look at my email, my department issued cell phone. I said to my wife, I'm like, so I'm texting Frank's wife. I'm like, tell your husband he's my new boss for about 8 to 9 months. So I saw him. I'm like, a little weird, very nice guy. And I worked a 9:30 at night till 6 o'clock in the morning because I needed that midnight shift. And truth be told, I love the midnight tour.
Really?
I loved it. Some guys hate it. Some guys like it. I loved it. You want to know why I loved it? I was a former night. Well, now I'm married with kids, but former night owl. I always stayed up late. Everyone's different,
Yeah.
And it was a great tour. I worked with a really good bunch of guys. I was on the wheel. If patrol had an overdose, they'd have to notify me. And the only thing that was upsetting about that, okay, what's the victim's name? What's the date of birth? 2/11/2001. I'm like, oh my God, this kid's 18 years old and he overdosed. That was a little heart wrenching to hear that. But yeah, I was there for about 9 months. Went in front of the medical board initially. They had denied my retirement. My department doctor was like, how's your hearing go? Oh, they denied me. He's like, it's a big game they play. 3 months later, I was in there for 90 seconds. 1, 2, 3 approved. That's all she wrote. And I remembered, so once you get approved medically, you have to then the pension board. And my attorney calls me and he's like, what's your tax number? I tell him my tax ID number. He's like, you're done. And I'm like, why? He's like, I have a midnight. He's like, no, you're done. He's like, Steve, it's been a pleasure. I'm like, Chris, it's been a pleasure. And I hang up the phone and I look at my wife. He's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I don't know how to feel right now.
Wow.
It was a job that I knew and that I loved for so many years. You're done. You ever see the movie Brooklyn's Finest?
Yeah.
With Richard Gere, and he takes the shield and he throws it into the box.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really so much like that, but I kind of felt it was. It's like, you're done. I'm like, oh, okay. I had to call up the pension section, fill out all the paperwork. But I couldn't believe, and it wasn't sinking in for a while, actually. I remember the day that I actually officially retired from the police department. I got my new ID card. It said retired on it. And I'm on the train going home and I'm staring at it. Retired. Like, wow. And you're like, this is real. And, truth be told, I love that job, but the job never loved me back. Like I said earlier in the interview. And I knew the next chapter was ready to start my life right now. I was ready to move forward.
When did you begin to love the job? Because up front,
Yeah.
you had some
Yeah.
difficulties.
I loved the job when I was on patrol. It was
Okay.
probably one of the most fun times in my life. Because we would work together. The guys would work, like, we were like almost like an extended family. The guys were pretty tight. We would go out, to the bar after, nothing crazy, and we would just vibe together. We would work very well together. And I loved doing that. I just loved it. Don't get me wrong. Working in crime was nice because of the hours, but the work wasn't really for me, if you will. But just the patrol was probably one of the happiest times of my career. It was who I was working with at the time. And just the guys that were on, the squad was in, like, this is great. Like, oh, this is, who is it? Like, oh, I never watched The Office. But like, oh, the squad's in today. Like, you're all like clicking and vibing together. And there was maybe one or two idiots, sprinkled in, as every precinct has it.
Right.
But for the most part, we had a bunch of good guys and girls where we worked with. And that was a good time.
People always ask me, or people every now and then, they're like, why do you still speak about the job if you're retired? And I tell people all the time, it wasn't the job that I loved. And I've been saying this on every podcast episode. It was the people in the job that I loved.
The saying goes is, I miss the clowns. I do not miss the circus whatsoever. I miss the guys that I worked with. I miss the camaraderie. I miss that gathering, but the BS, the forced overtime, the lack of sleep, the poor nutrition, the forced overtime, I don't miss any of that. I don't miss holidays, family events. I don't miss that whatsoever. It takes a real bearing, as you know, in your family.
100%.
And it takes a real bearing, to be married to a police officer, no matter what rank you are. It could be a two-star chief. It could be a captain. It doesn't matter what rank the person is. It could stresses that it could bring at home. Some guys don't know how to close that locker and leave it at work. They bring it home with them, or they're a lieutenant and they're off duty and now the captain's calling them, or I didn't care about the numbers. I didn't care if crime is up. I went home. That's my family. I could care less. Like, that's why maybe, I was never put in a political position of like, oh, Mrs. So-and-so's having a problem. I'm off duty right now. Don't bother me with this nonsense.
Exactly.
Like, you had captains calling up sergeants, they're with their family. If they don't answer their phone, they're all pissed off. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Like, just talk to me when I punch in, I'm on that clock. You got me all day. You want to talk to me? We'll talk all day. When I'm RDO, when I'm off with my family,
you don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. You're out of your damn mind if I want to hear that. No way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned God a few times.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned mental health.
Yeah. How
important do you think spiritual health is?
Oh my God. It's so important. And, truth be told, I'll be more than happy to share this with the world. I actually bought a Bible about 6-7 weeks ago. I bought it off Amazon. It was like $10, I believe. And one thing about the Bible, as we know, some people know, you don't have to read it from page 1. You could just read it, and you could pick up and read it from anywhere. Okay. And I read the Bible every now and then, and it's just something that I really feel that's important to myself, at least, to read about some of these passages. And, I know I'm going to misquote the Bible, but there was one passage how he spoke about how Jesus was walking on water, and Julius was like, he was scared, didn't know he was walking on water. And it's like, it's me, Jesus. Why do you fear me? Why do you fear me? I'm here for you. And some of these passages, and I know I forgot the saying in some of these, but
it's okay.
What?
It's okay.
Yeah, but I was just so powerful and so moving, the stuff that I was reading, and it just brings myself closer to God Himself. And it's something I recommend a lot of people doing, because it cleanses, at least it helped me with my soul and my beliefs and my bringing. And it's not every day I read it, but I do read it. And it's something I recommend if you are Catholic or Christian. It doesn't have to be, you could be any faith, but I would definitely recommend picking it up and reading it every now and then.
Yeah, it's a different layer of peace.
It's such a layer of peace. And some of the things I was reading, I'm like, wow, like this is very, very powerful. And I wish I did it sooner. I haven't, but for some reason, I woke up one day, I'm like, I'm going to buy the Bible today. I'm going to read it every now and then. I'm happy I did.
Yeah, it's that nudge. Everybody.
Oh, tremendously. Yeah. Everyone needs, not saying, oh, you need Jesus. I think everyone needs a little Jesus in their lives.
Everybody needs a lot of Jesus, in my personal opinion.
Of course. Yeah.
And a lot of times we get nudged throughout the course of our lives, but we just ignore it.
That's right.
Sometimes it takes stepping away from the noise
in
order to hear that voice or to feel that nudge.
Oh, yeah. Now, I don't want to mention, because may he rest in peace, but Charlie Kirk, his wife came out and said, I forgive my husband's killer.
I saw that.
And You know, she's a better person than I am. Um, I don't think I could ever forgive him, but she's a Christian. And the way the Christianity is that, you know, they forgive their, you know, offenders, and she
Yeah.
came out and she forgave him.
Forgiveness is huge.
I was so blown away when I heard that. But God bless the Kirk family and his wife and two beautiful children. And the day that Troy was assassinated, I found myself crying at night, and I was in my backyard. And what really got to me is that when he was shot in the neck, it triggered a lot of old emotions from my shooting.
Wow.
Because I saw that video, and I'll never forget. I'm picking up my daughter from the bus stop, which is right by my house on the corner. And my neighbor's like, Charlie Kirk was shot. I'm like, what are you talking about? I go to Twitter, and you saw the shooting. And I'm just looking at it like, oh my God, I can't watch this. Because like I said, one of those rounds was 18 inches from hitting me in the head. And, you know, that night I'm looking at different stuff on social media, and there was one video of Charlie's daughter running up to him. I believe it was on a Fox News set. And she's like, Daddy.
No.
Yeah. And right around that time, the company I work for, we were working at the UBS Arena for the MTV VMA Awards. I had worked 60 hours in 4 days. And
60
in
hours?
4 days by choice. You know, I volunteered to work. It's a great, you know, it's a great company to work for.
Yeah.
And I got home at like 8 o'clock at night, and the girls were still up, and they say, Daddy, you know, I'm piecing them, giving me a hug. And now I see Charlie's daughter. I'm like, and I'm just bawling. Because I'm affiliating myself being shot, and I'm seeing like, you know, Charlie's daughter running up to him, may he rest in peace. And I'm like, and I just lost it.
I didn't know that happened. I didn't watch the video. I refused to watch.
Yeah.
His daughter ran up to him.
Yeah. He was on some news set, and she's like, Daddy. And like they were showing different clips of him. With this,
okay. This wasn't when he got
no,
shot.
No.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Yeah. They were just showing different clips of
got
him.
you.
Of memories. And that was one of the memories. And I'm like, I just lost it. I'm sitting there. I'm like bawling. Like that. I envisioned that was one of my kids running up to me. And I feel terrible for that family. Yeah. And I am just so beside myself. Are we really with that in this country now, that we disagree? You're going to take someone's life.
Insane.
It's like in my 45 years I've been on this earth, I've learned. So if you and I have different political views, I'm going to respect your views. Okay. I'm going to listen to you like a man. I want to have a meaningful and respectful conversation. I don't have to agree with it, but I'm going to respect it. And I would hope somebody that had opposing views as me would do the same, would show me that respect and that dignity as well. But are we really at that now? We're gonna take someone's life with violence if you don't agree with somebody. It's sickening. It's such a disgusting point in this country, and like that is something needs to be done. That is out of control. What's happening right now? I am lost for words with that. Yeah, I know, it's unbelievable.
So you've been retired for 6 years now.
Yeah.
You work for another company.
I work for another company. Am I allowed to shout them out? Is that
absolutely? Absolutely.
Shout out to Preferred Security Investigations. We do it all. We do dignitary, celebrity protection, Amazon, Netflix premieres. We just did like I said, the MTV Video Music Awards. Was it 2 months ago over the summer? And we work with all active and retired cops. It's an amazing company to work for. I love the company that I work for. It's fantastic. The company is actually growing very, very, very rapidly. We are held to a very high standard. If you're a knucklehead, you're gone. You're launched. And we come to work, everyone's on the same page. I love it. I absolutely I don't consider that work. I consider I'm hanging out with the guys. I'm with the boys and the girls. You know, it's a great, and I'm not starstruck. Like I'm with Keanu Reeves the other day. I'm with other celebrities that I won't mention. And it's cool. Like whatever, like no big deal. They're regular people like you and I. They put their pants on like we put our pants on.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's not, I'm around the celebrities. It's just I'm around good guys and good girls that are, like I said, active and retired. And it's a fantastic company from all the way up top to leadership to all the way at the bottom to so we have a few civilians that work for the company, but I am so blessed and grateful that the position fell into my lap.
How did it fall into your lap?
My neighbor owns it. My neighbor, the look on your face.
The lieutenant.
No, that's a different. No. So what happened was, his name's Roger. He lives across. So the lieutenant lives behind me. Roger lives across the street from me. So at the time, I was going through an interview for armed security for Massive Equal High School. Did very well in the interview. Did well in the process. Maybe about a week later, Roger comes by to drop off cookies for my kids. And I'm like, oh, we're just cleaning, come in, don't mind the mess. And my big mouth wife is like, oh, tell him about your interview. Now, I never approach him for employment because we're so close at home that I would never, if something were to happen at work, I'm okay with being terminated, but I don't want my home life to be affected.
Gotcha.
Because there's such good people, my neighbors.
Right.
I love them like family. They're not my neighbors, they're my family. I love them, his wife, the two children. Like if it snows, I got the snowblower out. Oh, I'll knock it dry. Like no big deal. Like it was take me 10 minutes, 20, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just, he knew me for about 6 years. He knew like my personality, like, oh, grab your mail. What do you need? Like no big deal. Like, neighbors. So he knew what kind of a person I was for the most part. He's in my kitchen. He's like, come work for me, Steve. Calls one of his partners. You're hired. Had to come down on Monday, sign a contract. We have signed a non-disclosure. You can't put anything on social media or anything. And that's all she wrote. And I have not looked back. And my wife, actually, she makes fun of me. This is like a new suit I just got, actually. Shout out to Nordica and Michael Kors, by the way. Got to shop the sales, too. If anyone's watching, you got to shop the sales.
This guy's sharp.
Yeah, thank you. But I was never in the detective squad. I have 12 suits now. Why? I take pride in my appearance. I take pride in, when I was a cop, my biggest pet peeve, like I said, was a sloppiness. So now I'm in the corporate world, if you will. I'm a civilian. You have to play the certain part. You have to look a certain look. I'm not saying you got to go out and buy like $1,000 suit, but put yourself together. You get yourself a decent pair of shoes and a decent suit. Like you want to. Guys don't understand that your life can be so much easier when dealing with the public when you're squared away. When you're not squared away, people take you very less seriously. And I'm always like looking online and, oh, the suit was $500, but it's down to $125. How can I why would you let that slide?
Yeah.
Like the $125, it's all good. Like, here you go, it's paid off. Like it's not a big deal. But now my thing, like I have like 60 different ties. You're always staying fresh because when you look good, you feel good. And I go to work fresh. The guys pick my chops, my shoes are always shined. It's just something that I always like to do is to get dressed up and just play the part, looking good, you're feeling good. It's a good time at work. It's not really like any other employment. It's not always peaches and cream, but sometimes you eat the bear and the bear eats you. It balances out tremendously. It balances tremendously. I used to drive, but I got 7 parking tickets in 4 months, whatever. So now I take the train. But initially, I didn't take the train. I'm like, I don't want public transportation. It's not bad, to be honest with you. It's not. Pick your poison. You sit in your car in peace and quiet, or do you deal with the public nonsense? I'm like, I bring my earpods with me, or I'll read the newspaper. I'll do something to ignore the guy behind me on the phone, or I'll ignore the loud couple next to me.
Yeah.
But it's been working out with the public transportation. It's not a big deal, actually.
Yeah. Talking about presentation, you have a beautiful watch.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've had a few guests that have come by recently, and they have some heat on their wrists. What do you got there?
You got the Breitling Super Avenger with the blue dial.
Show it to the camera.
There you go. Right. Oh, is it upside down? Like, whoop. That. Now
that's a big boy too.
That's a big boy. Now, Sly Stallone, he did an interview. Okay, he talked about buying some $100,000 Rolex, and the interview was like, well, you could buy a $999 Timex piece. What's the difference? This is an accomplishment. I got to a level, I was able to afford it, paid it off, okay? And I wanted this watch for the longest as I could remember. And I was finally financially, I got to a point in my life where I could afford it. And I'm living proof life is way too short. I'm living proof is, tomorrow is not guaranteed. So I bought the watch. And anyone watching this, treat yourself every now. I'm not saying rack up debt. I'm not saying live above your means, because that's financially very silly to do so. Don't buy the car you can't afford or the house, because you'll be miserable if you do so. But you need to treat yourself every now and then. If you work hard, I always say work hard, play harder. And it's one of the things I always wanted, and I was able to accomplish it in my life. And I'm so proud of myself for doing so.
I love it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think I'm going to start. Anybody that comes in here with some heat, I'm going to address the watch that they're wearing, and I'm going to put it on my Timepiece Keeper page.
Absolutely. Sure.
That's what I'm going to do. So
it's pretty.
I'm going to put you up there.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely. Of course. Yeah, I'm looking for, yeah, of course. I have different watches home. I have, you ever hear of the brand Bonasgatti, it's called?
No.
It looks like a Richard Mille. I'll show you a photo of it. I think the retail's maybe $1,150, $1,100. Okay. And there's different versions of models. I get more compliments on that watch than I do on this, because it looks like an RM. And I remember being at the cigar bar once, Guy's like, yo, my man, is that an RM? And I'm like, bro, I'm not rocking a $400,000 piece. I'm like, it's 1,100.
But it gets the attention.
It gets the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you could, if truth be told, you could get some heat around around $1,000. You got plenty of pieces out there.
Yeah.
You can get. There's another watch that I have. It's called a Tessar Bone Bar. Okay, I believe.
You're gonna send me pictures of these.
I'll send you photos. That retail is, I want to say $7.99 or $6.99. And I was wearing it the other day at work, and the guy's like, "What watch is that?" I'm like, "Dude, it's only $7. It's not, but it looks solid. I believe it's a 45 or 46 millimeter, but it looks like an RM as well."
You like the big boys?
I like the big boys. Like, I have a decent sized wrist. And you know, I didn't like the small, like 41's nice, 40 millimeters nice, but like 44 and up, that's more my speed. Some of these watches are like, 50, that's too big. Like that's, but I was working at an event last night, and I'm standing there, I'm holding like my jacket, like Secret Service. And, I polish my own watches, and some lady's like, "Oh, that's a big boy." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like she noticed,
You polish your own watches?
Yeah,
What kind of cloth do you use?
I said I'd have to look. I have it at home. So I got it off Amazon. It's for like stainless steel.
Yep.
And what I do is I'll take Q-tips and I'll sit there, and I'll go around the bezel, and I get all the dirt off, and I'll just polish it up. And then I'll do that maybe once a month, just because when you wear it out, it gets, being in public, it gets dirty, what have you. But once I polish it, takes about maybe 20 minutes. I get every nook and cranny, and I sit there with the Q-tips, and it's after 20 minutes, like, wow, it's pretty.
This thing looks good.
I appreciate you. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah. So Steve, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
What does purpose over pension mean to you?
Purpose of a pension. Oh, it's a really, really good question. Well, you need to get to that finish line, if you will, and get that pension, but you have to get there healthy. Okay. You have to able to enjoy life, and you commit yourself to this job for how many years? Okay. 25, 30 years. I just heard a story of a lieutenant I used to work with. He did counterterrorism. Yeah, 40 years on the job. His pension, $28,000 a month. Oh, congratulations. Stomach cancer, liver cancer, throat cancer, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if he's still with us. I never found out whatever happened to that lieutenant. Or you hear about the guy or girl, oh, he did 30 years. He had a heart attack a month later and died. Purpose of a pension is, yeah, you need to get to that finish line and collect that monthly check every month. But you need to be smart about it. You need to take care of yourself. I go to my doctor twice a year, every year. Okay, I get a 6-month checkup. Okay, because I get blood work done. I get my physical. Okay, and you have to collect that pension, God willing, for the next 50, 60 years. You have to enjoy life. Guys, there's life outside the police department. There's life outside of law enforcement. Guys stay because that's all they know. Never married, they never had any children. Okay, but there's life outside the job. I promise you this. There is so much to do besides being a police officer, no matter what rank you are. But some guys just can't let it go. Oh, one more year. They're always chasing that number. I have a neighbor of mine, he recently retired as a Suffolk County Marine Bureau sergeant. And he was supposed to retire a few years ago, but he's like, oh, one more year. How much is it? How much more do you need? Mm-hmm. How much more do you want? Yeah. I remember having this discussion with someone at work. Guy who does 20 years versus 25. Yeah, the guy who does 25, his pension's bigger. Guy's doing 25. He's not driving a Ferrari over the guy who does 20. That's 5 years of possibly being hurt, being indicted, God forbid being killed, missing holidays, birthday parties, what have you. Then we can get into the argument. Oh, if you're at One Place Plaza, if you're in a special unit, okay, I'm talking about the normal everyday guy or girl. But my game plan is, or should have been, or anybody listening who's on the job, is get that pension, get that number, and move on with your life. And that's it. But be healthy about it. Take care of yourself physically. I recently lost almost 60 pounds. I was a lot heavier back in March. Thank you so much. And because my biggest thing is I have a big sweet tooth, and I just, you retire. Okay. All right. Getting a couple of pounds. All right. Then it just spirals out of control, and it spirals. I remember my wife saying to me, you stepped on the scale lately? I'm like, no. I stepped on the scale. I'm like, holy shit. I was at 252. I'm at 195 as of yesterday morning. Really? Yeah. Congrats. And thank you. And anyone listening, my secret to my source, intermittent fasting. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Yeah. It's something that initially it stinks to get used to, but I do a 16 or 18 hour fast. Mm-hmm. Okay. And during those 8 hours, I pretty much almost eat within reason what I want, within reason. I'm not eating like 10 Hershey bars or anything. Drink plenty. I hate regular water. I'll drink sparkling. I love Perrier and the new. You ever try Liquid Death? It's a new. It's called Liquid Death. It's $1 billion company. It's regular water, and their motto is "Murder your thirst." And like the marketing, murder your. Shout out to Liquid Death. It's the marketing. These guys are geniuses that came up with that idea. It's a regular sparkling water. It's a tall boy, if you will, for water, and
I love that.
That was my secret to my sauce, and it just baby steps over time. Like if I go, let's say if I go to the store. If I go to, let's say later, for example, I go to Macy's, so I'm not going to, but I'll purposely park furthest away from the store so I get my daily step count in. Do you understand? I won't look for the close spot. I'll look for the furthest spot away. So I'm getting my steps in, the little adjustments in life. And my daughter randomly says to me one day, "Daddy, you're not going to die in me, are you?" And I'm like, "Where the heck did that come from?" And I'm like, that's one of many red flags. I need to start taking control of my life.
Wow.
And I'm so happy I was able to do so. And I'm just in the rhythm now. You know, the thing that stunk is that, yeah, I had to get all new suits. That's a good problem to have. I had to get all new clothes.
Yeah.
That's a good, not I'm buying it to get bigger. I'm buying it to get 2 sizes smaller. Right. It's a really good problem to have. But taking yourself physically, like I said, mentally, but physical health is also very important. But to answer your question is to get that pension and to enjoy it because you dedicated so many years of your life to lack of sleep, missed events with birthdays and stuff, and this family time. It's like, you ever see, remember reading an article, head of New York Post, Port Authority police officer makes $250,000. Did you see that? Yeah. So his pension was $125,000, okay, for the rest of his life. So the man worked 364 days that year, but he took his birthday off. But what the paper failed to mention, so I found this out through my uncle, who was a Port Authority sergeant. His son had special needs and he had some type of disease or he was in a wheelchair. So he was doing it for his son. Wow. I see the paper doesn't mention that.
Wow.
They're all about, these Suffolk and Nassau guys. They have big numbers of these private village guys that, you're doing $300,000. That's great. But they failed to mention the time that you're away from your family, the time that you're physically at work, you're living at work. That's got to take a toll on you. Like, I mean, come on, man. I mean, if I didn't see, when I was working, all these hours recently, I didn't see my kids for like a day and a half. I'm at work, guys, like, yeah, right? I'm just thinking about my children. I love them more than, like your father. Unconditionally, I love my girls. I couldn't wait to go. Yeah, I love my wife. All right, whatever. I couldn't wait to go home to see my 2 kids. I can't imagine always being at work. Daddy, when are you coming home? And they're very young. I'm sure they would understand, but they wouldn't understand at the same time. Like, why isn't Daddy home right now?
Right.
Daddy's trying to provide for the family. Daddy's trying. You can't, being a father and being as a police officer, no matter what agency, you can't get it 100 because you're trying to make that OT to get the girls their shoes or whatever they need, trying to get that family trip in, but you're missing family time. So you tell me which is more important. Do you want to go to Disney? Cool, no problem. I have no problem going there. But let me
to sacrifice.
I have to sacrifice. I have to earn it. Growing up, my father always said to me, "Steve, no one gave us this house. I had to earn everything." My dad worked 6 days a week for 14 years in a row. And I saw my dad on Sundays. We never had that family dinner growing up. It was my mother, my brother, and myself. My dad was always working. And looking back, I can't thank that man enough for what he did for us. He was able to provide us with that life because he did what he had to do to provide for his family. I mean, getting a little bit off topic, but Stephen A. Smith, big fan of his. You want to know why I'm a big fan of his? Because I saw a clip of him recently, how his family has resentment, he was saying, against him. But he goes, "I don't care because I'm providing my children and my wife a life I never had growing up. I'm providing for them and they could reap the benefits of my salary because I'm providing for my family and my children." I have so much respect for that man. I never met the man. I would love to shake his hand someday if possible. And I also remember I saw a clip when he finally made it, when he got that big contract. He went to pick his mom up at the PAL, okay? And he went to his mother's boss and said, "She's done. Mom," because he was a single mom growing up, from what I understand. And she did her thing for how many years? He's like, "It's my turn." Paid her mortgage off, put her on a 2-week vacation. She goes, "It's my turn to work." I have so much respect for somebody like that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
it's
it.
good stuff.
Steve, thanks for being here. How can people find you?
You guys could find me on my Instagram page. It's Steven_Michael 2637. That's pretty much my main platform. Or on my Twitter, at Steve RET Cop. But Instagram, you'd want to follow me. And you know what? I keep it real on my Instagram. I don't sugarcoat it. You never walk into a room and everyone's thinking it, but you're the guy saying it. That's how it is on my social media page. So if you guys want to follow the truth, you don't like being politically correct, which I'm not, and I could care less about being politically correct.
Same here.
Yeah, facts. I'd rather be, how's the saying go? I would rather be slapped with the truth than kissed with a lie. Okay. So you guys follow me. Once again, it's Steven_Michael 2637 on Instagram, or on my Twitter, my TikTok, Steve the RET Cop. That's my handle over there.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been real. It's been a pleasure.